Hey fuckers, it's Friday.
Can't spell shattered without shat or turd.
Like a gut punch to the abdomen.
Some of the funniest shit on the web.
I call it a rock friend.
I like the cut of your jib, gentlemen.
These 5 are the only protection we have.
The best part of the show is the genuine Hasbro love.
Good night, folks.
And of course, Pat's weekly farts.
Breaking news. It's very outside of the box.
Hail day.
I love Friday. Bob's Bait and Tackle, now carrying Hasbro.
They truly are your favorite podcast.
Thoughts, prayers, likes, and shares.
From A to B.
Uncut. Is that you?
When are you going to bring Larry back?
My favorite Star Wars podcast.
Shattered cast on
Complete fuckers. Podcast is intended for mature audiences only, and its sole purpose is to entertain. If it doesn't fit with your sensitive sensibilities, please feel free to turn it off now and
Shut the fuck up, Chip.
Hey there, everybody. This is the sultry sound of Deluxe, and this is Shattercast Uncut, episode 190. How y'all doing? All right. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Let's get on with the show. How is everybody doing? All right. I have everybody with us tonight. We have Bobby Skullface.
Hey, Matt, you got something going on with your microphone a little bit, but what's up, man?
I got it? Am I rubbing it too hard?
It was like you were rubbing it. Yeah.
Am I rubbing it too hard?
Yeah, I think you were rubbing it too hard.
You know.
It sounded wild.
Penis.
Yeah, it sounded like a gymnasium audit, like the principal talking to the gymnasium assembly.
It just takes a nice phallic object in Matt's face for him to start getting excited.
All right, moving on to Dix. Hey, Justin, how you doing? T2RX6.
I'm well, thank you very much.
All right, even a bigger dick, Robert D. How you doing?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you, Matthew. How are you?
I'm good. And Greg.
Hey, just not to judge you and not to criticize, but just some notes on your performance. I think it would have been funnier if you just said T2RX dick.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
I agree.
But that's just me.
What do you want to start over? We can start over if you want.
No, it's fine. I just I know we're going to get corrected all over social media, so
that is true.
Make sure that
had a lot of that this week. So yeah. Well, let's move on to and I am Deluxe if you didn't know, and that's my retarded dog. Anybody get anything? Bobby has a penis.
I've had that. I've had that now for 36 years.
Correction. Thank God.
Let's see.
We'll just go with Bob.
Okay, I got this is gonna be a show. I can tell already. Oh man, they've changed fucking YouTube. I can't fucking navigate it anymore.
Yeah, they have changed YouTube. Oh, do you have to look at your fucking videos to see what you got?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're fucking pathetic. Jesus.
That's my system.
Man.
So I got the Star Wars Black Series Wave from Crashbox Customs.
That's good, dude.
I got Hera and Kylo and Luke, Rey, and Thrawn.
He's not supposed to be selling those before Friday.
Uh-oh.
It's Crashbox, sir. He is not an individual. He is a corporation.
I'm going to snitch him out every level. Right when I send that email that says MMC's making a Bumblebee, I'm going to fucking put, oh, by the way, this guy.
I got, it is Friday, by the way. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I got Ares, Hela, and Jane Foster from the Marvel Legends Thor wave, which is all I'm getting from that wave.
What? No Hulk?
No, I don't give a fuck about Gladiator Hulk, man.
How do you like that alternative Jane or alternative Hela head sculpt? Like not the sculpt, but the paint.
It's beautiful, dude. They are.
Is it hella good?
It's hella good. That digital face paint that they are doing for a $20 price point is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it's fucking amazing.
Still got it in them, I guess.
Got that Legends money.
Yep, for sure. Let's see what else and then I got I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week. I got the Zeta Toys Takeoff. I had the opportunity to look at MMC's Turban, and then I also received SH Figuarts Cami, and a couple other things. I received a lot of newly acquired boxing experts tiers when their MMA champion couldn't beat arguably the best defensive boxer of all time in a boxing match.
Yawn.
Yeah, but that was a great match, though.
Yeah, it was good. It was probably Floyd's most entertaining fight ever.
But it's more than a boxing match. It's like a whole new sport. It was like a circus.
Man, that shit.
It was very entertaining.
That shit was just like watching a bank withdrawal. That's all that fucking shit was.
I knew he was gonna lose. Come on.
You have to.
Was there really a loser in that though, except for the people that pre-ordered or paid for the fight?
Nobody. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a loser.
Yeah, but his base pay was McGregor was.
Oh, I mean, the money, the payout is a no-brainer. Dude, I would let Floyd knock me out for that much money.
30 million base. Oh, come on.
I let Floyd knock out my mom for that much money.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm gonna tell it. D Deluxe. Your son just said. Man, I hate Twitter. It's hard to figure out. Your son just said at Deluxe Baldwin. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry.
I really don't know how to access my fucking YouTube now.
I know it's stupid.
I also got shout out to Energon Addict. Shout out to Energon Addict.
Shout out to that guy, man.
So Energon Addict and Jose, which doesn't make me confusing them any easier, both wrote me privately last week and had some nice things to say, and I appreciate both those gentlemen. Energon Addict saw that skit for that video I did and bought and sent me a Connect 4. So I got that. And yeah, that's it. That's it for this week.
Did Jose get you a Pepsi?
No.
Oh, it's a Pepsi Coke. Okay, you don't know. All right, sorry.
Oh yeah, the Pepsi.
You gotta listen to ROC, man.
I do listen to ROC, and I did hear the Pepsi Coke conversation. It just took me a minute to catch up. But I'm definitely a Coke guy. But I haven't drank soda in a long time, man.
Me neither.
I know. You were my inspiration to stop drinking soda.
It's been a year, man. It's been over a year, actually.
Drinking milkshakes instead.
Mm-hmm. I love me some Sonic milkshake.
He said milkshakes instead.
So you done? Did you test out anything else, Bobby?
No, that's it.
He's got a method. He's got a method, Matthew.
He does.
Oh, I got the Play Arts COD Deadpool. I got Play Arts COD Deadpool and Ares, both from Randy B. He knows who he is.
Hey, do you need time to look through YouTube again to make sure?
No, I don't know how to access it anyway. So
okay. Cool. It is. Yeah, I tried to navigate it. I'm just like I can't get to my stuff. I don't know where the hell I'm doing. But anyway.
I don't know where my shit is.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up, let's go.
You didn't ask me what I got.
T2RX6.
Oh, I thought you were
I'm hosting. You shut your mouth.
I really didn't get too much this week. Like usual. I got a vintage G.I. Joe board game, which I was excited about. That was pretty cool.
Board game?
It's probably a shitty game, but it's vintage and it's G.I. Joe, and I love it. So I haven't played it, so it's probably shit, like I said. And then the only actual Transformers-related thing I got was, unbeknownst to me, apparently MMC sent out some different wings for the head of Artfire. And so they just kind of showed up, some gray rings, and I said, oh, okay. And kind of threw them to the side. And
you got gray rings?
Yeah.
Rings?
Wings.
Really? Are you the spelling teacher or some shit?
Huh?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyways.
Did you just say spelling t-shirt?
That's
teacher. Is that all you got, Justin?
That's all I got.
All right. All right, Greg, what you get, man?
I ain't get shit.
Really? Damn.
I don't think I did, no. Oh, no, I mentioned that. I remember to mention that. Yeah, I ain't get shit since last week. I'm poor.
You got some flack this week from Twitter. They just messing with you, Greg, on Twitter. They don't like you.
Well, you never really say anything relevant enough for them to give you any flack. So
I know. Hey, I tell you this, but I talked to Maz first. I said, "Hey, you can come." I said you can come on, but I got to ask everybody first.
Yeah, that was noted in the special last night. Had you bothered to listen?
I've listened to the first 20 minutes. I edited it too.
Oh, you edited it.
I didn't edit it, but I did it for YouTube.
I heard Bobby Skullface edited the fuck out of that.
He did skullfuck it.
So you rendered the video for YouTube?
Yeah, I just rendered it. That's all.
Yeah, he has the pictures. Yeah.
I had the dog picture. Yeah. You know, like the puppy in the puddles.
That's a lot of shit.
Hey, I have to Google that shit. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't get anything, man.
Are you Phil now?
I'm really sorry you didn't get anything, Greg. I really am.
Dang, that shit all I want.
Hey, Robert Day, what'd you get, man?
Justin reminded me I got those gray rings as well. I was like, they give you like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And they're all the same size.
And they're not painted or anything. Like, they're not even as good as the white ones. So, I don't know.
The sender was like, what was it, like a full circle or something? Like,
yeah, something like that.
It was like, oh, pay it forward toy store, some shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I got. Oh fuck! I hung up on him. Brave was just calling me. Damn it! Shouldn't have swiped right. What else did I get? I got back. I have now a rare collectible that's worth a lot of money.
Oh, shit! Bobby signed something, didn't he?
No, Bobby broke something. What did I break? Well, I think the stress mark counts. Not as breaking it, but
you're reaching now for the.
I can be like
break
touched. Yeah, this has got the touch. That's what I'll call it. This Bobby Skullface touch.
Man, that shit is captured on camera. Easily just going into the fucking slot. Instant.
Oh, it did the same thing on me too. On my review, it did the same thing. It stressed all the way up to the on the cab.
That was the Masterpiece Prime, right? And what was funny was you were like, push this in, and it was like, and you're like, oh shit. Stressed all the way to the plastic, and then the next side you're like, all right, now let's make sure it's aligned properly first.
Oh, knock it off.
And then you're like, oh look, it went right in.
You're foolish.
Hey, when I transformed it, it didn't have any problems before I sent it to you.
You probably didn't transform it right.
That's true, probably. You probably didn't.
I didn't transform it before I sent it to you.
Oh, see?
If you would have transformed it, it would have stressed. It stressed on me.
Here's the fucked thing about that. So you didn't transform it at all. When you sent it to me, I was like, man, I heard it's a transformation nightmare. I don't know if I want to fuck with it. And you're like, oh, it's not that bad.
Oh, man. And that's about all that I fucking got.
Oh, that's not. Okay.
That's shit.
Well, it says, hey Deluxe, what'd you get? Okay, I got
It is kind of fucked up. Matt's always good at asking the host. And
hey, Matt.
To ask Matt.
It's all right. It's okay.
Matt.
Yes, sir.
What'd you get, buddy?
I got the movie the last night's Skullfucker or something. It's a Toys R Us exclusive, and I don't like it. Ooh. So I'm gonna have to do a review on that one. I finally got the Transformers Collector Club G2 Starscream, and I got it for a really good price. I think this thing goes over for like $100, and I got it for $50. And it was the guy in the next town next to me, so I was really happy about that. And I also, the best thing I got this week, and for a long time, I got a DX9 clear Starscream from Robert D. For some reason, he ordered 2, and he sent me one of them.
Yeah, I had
he
ordered a while ago, and I fucked up, and what?
He ordered 10 of them, and he only sent you one. He sent you one.
Well, that's all. I still nice. I'll get him at TFCon because he won't let me send him anything. So, anyways, and that is all I got. I have a huge bowling drop next week, and it's going to be epic. So, stay tuned.
Speaking of the last night, before we move on, I got some great news about that movie. My dad's like, I pre-ordered it. I'm like, great. I don't even need to pay for it to see this thing.
God damn, man.
So I was real excited about that.
And before we move on, I wanted to say something too, if that's
cool. Go ahead, say it. Ratchet.
Okay. Clank. Me and old Bobby Skullface. Yeah, that was pretty clever, right? Me and old Bobby Skullface sat down with Maz last night because we got some Twitter flack. Oh, excuse me. We sat down on. We need to timestamp everything now. We sat down Tuesday night with Maz, and it actually got posted before the show. And we talked about some things, clarified some things. I don't think people understand when the show goes up.
It surprises me how many people I believe truly think we are talking live as they're listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I thought little men were up in the ceiling too, fucking playing music in the restaurant. But that's not how it works. So, but anyway, whatever. It's fine. It's healthy. It's healthy discourse. We had a good time. I do want to correct before we get assaulted again on the social media. I incorrectly said he was Indian. He's actually Iranian. I was kind of basing that off of the structure of his name, and I apologize. I guess I'm a fucking racist. So there's that. But yeah, check it out. If you don't have time to listen, there's a full transcription up in the Galaxy Meteor thread on TFW, because people love to do that shit instead of posting links. But yeah, so
I mean,
thanks to him for coming on, and
that does take some dedication, though. Man, to sit there and listen to it and then actually write down all this shit and everything. So kudos to that guy.
No, not kudos. Fucking listen.
Well, I know.
To the
I mean,
show,
just a little kudos, but not much. But
I don't think he gets any kudos. I think he's stepping on toes there. He shouldn't be.
Well, why don't you type up that C&D we talked about? And I might be speaking out of school with the rest of the cast, but since I guess technically that 6-0 was involved, maybe at some point we can do a little sit down with him and get to know him a little better.
Yeah, we Greg and I really enjoyed doing that extra thing, and we always talk about doing extra show stuff, but it's so hard to find the time. But
so hard, so small,
so hard.
We're gonna try to be
hard.
Try to get one in.
Just be a little bit more proactive, and doing extra shit.
And if it takes talking more shit to get it done, then. Yes, God damn it.
That's what I said. We need to piss off somebody during the week and then have them on the show next week.
Yeah, I guess whoever, we'll see who we make angry this week and we'll talk to him next week.
Hey, Bob, I have a feeling we're going to be doing getting a Matt Baldwin next week. You know what I'm saying?
My man bobbed me.
Yeah, he does that. And Bob.
All right, speaking of nailing and bobbing, we got new movie show news. We got riveting new images of Bumblebee alt mold, as well as new car on set. All right.
So riveting.
Ooh, look at that. Okay.
I guess that's so the motherfucker can sit up top and hold the camera down and film the road and shit while they're driving. I don't know.
So I started thinking about this because we had that discussion last week and everyone kind of being disappointed that I still think it's shit, even though it's the G1 alt mode. Would anyone be surprised if he is this alt mode for, all of 10 minutes of the movie? I mean,
3 seconds.
I mean, if they have any care to the stuff that came before it, he won't be, because he was a busted ass VW Beetle in the beginning of the first movie, the 2007 one.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, it was a Camaro.
No, he was a Camaro.
Oh, you're right. He wasn't.
He opened the door on the...
That's right. They showed the
Bumblebee.
Dude, man, you're neck and neck with dust mites.
I forgot.
You're neck and neck with dust mites on hating on shit. Jesus.
Well, no. So now it even lends more credence to the fact that he might only be this alt mode for all of 5 minutes. I mean,
well,
he wasn't it in the beginning of the 2007 movie. No reason they won't just go ahead and put him as an old 70s.
He did give a nod to him. Give a nod to it,
My only thing about that is I think there's 3 different. There's a clean one, and then there's 2 with 2 different rigs we've seen so far. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. And the budget on this film is a lot smaller than it is on the other one. So
it is a mini, but.
All right, never mind.
Look at the little robot behind the car. See what it says on it? The sign says "ew."
EU.
Ew.
And they got the Mustang on the bottom. Is that a 67? Justin?
I don't know. I'm not good enough with Mustangs to know which ones they are.
So who could this be?
769, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, look who's online on Skype.
Bob?
Who is online on Skype?
Larry
who?
I think I meant Lenny.
Oh, Lenny? Add Lenny. Add Lenny to the call.
Nah, we're good. Anyways, anybody anything else to Justin? You want to shit on this some more?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I still don't like it. I refuse to like it.
What's wrong with the seat covers or anything? Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, I had a question that got lost in the crosstalk.
Is it about that van behind him?
Yes. So who could the Mustang be?
Nemesis Bumblebee.
You think it's Unicron?
No, it's not Cloud.
No, that's you're thinking about.
Let's see. Let me tap into the G1 source material here for a second.
Oh, that's the wrong place to go
Inferno.
for movie news, but
it's gonna be Inferno.
That is Cosmos. That's gonna be Cosmos.
Cosmos.
Has to be Cosmos, right?
That's Minosaur.
He's a new combiner. Anyways, all right, moving on. We have some TLK manages to Squeeks by at the box office. Well, I can't say books. I said books. Jesus Christ.
Solid work, Matthew.
So, TLK only managed to make $604 million worldwide during the last 10 weeks.
My man said only managed to make $600 million.
You know, but it is pretty. I mean, okay, for any other film, it would be great. Usually, not any other film, but basic films. But seeing as the Transformers made $1 billion on the last one, and blah blah this, so it was a failure. So I wish it wouldn't have been, but shit happens. So.
I don't think it was a failure because they still made their money, but I think it was definitely less than what.
Right. I'm sure they projected a lot more than what this was.
Yeah. I mean, granted, it was barely a Baldwin drop as far as dollar amount goes, but.
Speaking of drops, I'm taking take a deuce. Anyways, anybody got anything else to say about that? You want to shit on this too, Justin?
Nope, I've already done my fair share of shitting on this movie by not seeing it. So I feel like I did my part. So if it only just squeaked by.
It's once again, it's the international market that saved this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think that it did as well internationally as it has done in the past. So I'm sure, it's only a matter of time, right, before it doesn't make the money that it should. So I'm sure they're trying to get ahead of that.
I truly feel that this franchise is just sinking. So just move on, do something else with it.
I mean, after usually after 3 or 4. I mean, when does a really good franchise still stay? I mean, you still got Fast and Furious. Give it up for them. All right. But I mean, most don't. Most stuff like that after the 3rd or 4th sequel, it gets kind of boring.
I think they should take a cue from their TV series and just can it at 3 and be done with it. Just move on to something else. No reason we can't have different Transformers related movies that aren't these.
So do you think at the end of the next one, instead of standing up and clapping, people should stand up and play Third Eye Blind?
I would love to see live action.
Wish you would step back from the ledge, my friend.
I wish you.
Since this
Robert, why'd you go into being a lawyer and not a musician?
You got fucking pussy. What you gotta say about that, Robert? Pussy.
He's right.
You know what I'm saying? All right.
I was in the drama club in high school.
Yeah, but no shit, you're at the drama club and you're fucking 30s, you're 40s.
This is just shit on each other, isn't it? I guess.
We already had
into the woods.
We already had a good show this week, so this one we could just fucking throw away.
Oh, I love our shows, Cracker. Moving on, we got Hasbro trademarks AllSpark Animation. All right.
Yay, animation studio to make more shitty Bayformers.
Yeah, that's what we need. I really want to kind of get the nuts and bolts of this universe fleshed out. You know what I mean?
Use nuts and bolts at the same time.
Movie stuff. Yeah, but I think this is going to be working on that upcoming animation too, which sounds like it might be some sort of a G1 throwback.
Oh yeah, the animation movie. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
No, not the movie. The movie's definitely going to be movie version, but the TV show. That's going to be the chapter 1, 2, and 3. I think that's going to be like a throwback to better times.
Do you think that if they did an animation movie, G1 again, do you think that there would still be people shitting on it, like they shit on everything else?
Oh, of course. That's this fandom.
We can't be. We just can't be fucking satisfied.
Well,
wait, what's the question again, Matt?
If they made an animation movie, something like the '86 movie, would the people still shit on it?
I'm sure some people would, but I think for the most part, if they did straight to video animations that were based somewhere off of the G1 idea, and that's to say, War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, IDW, like anything that has its roots in G1.
Wreckers.
I think that overall the response would be positive. Now, I don't know if the 86 movie came out now, if it would be as adored, because the 86 movie is, look, I love it. If I had to go to an abandoned island, for the rest of my life, and I could only take take 5 movies, it's one of my 5.
Right, but it is kind of cheesy.
But it's absurd.
Yeah.
The first 20 minutes is great, and then it gets fucking stupid.
Justin, get the road.
You mean Dare to be stupid?
But it's beautifully stupid. You know what I mean?
He didn't get that Dare to be stupid.
I got it.
When the next animated movie comes out, I'm gonna make my mom write a letter to Hasbro.
The only pleasure I get out of doing this show is when I make Bobby laugh.
I think it's one of those things where it's just that it was just the right timing. You know what I mean? It was the right movie for the right time.
Because there's G1.
Right before G.I. Joe.
Well, it was G1. It was, there was a lot of Star Wars references in it, and like.
So everything is a Star Wars reference.
Have you seen the movie poster, Matt?
Right. Exactly.
And it literally used Star Wars
no connection whatsoever.
So if robots are flying through or doing stuff, they're doing Star Wars shit just because they're posing.
Right, Matt, you need to relax.
It literally used Star Wars sound effects.
Okay, so what percentage of fans do you think that would be upset with, and would love this new animation? Give me a percentage.
If they were to do another G1 movie now, like just a G1. Just define the parameters of this conversation. What? Just sell me the movie, Matt. Tell me the movie, and then I'll tell you what percentage people will be upset.
Okay, if they did, let's just say More Than Meets the Eye kind of movie, kind of a background of that way.
I think that it would be 80% positive.
Okay.
All right.
I think it'd be
got percentages.
I think it'd be 80% positive, 10% neutral, and then 10% hate.
Oh, I have vastly different numbers than you, then, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's hear the numbers. Let's hear the numbers.
And that's if they stay true to the source material. The animation is good. The acting is good. Like if everything is performed well.
They need to stay in Bush.
Like if it's like a stop motion comic, different percentages. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I think all the G1 purists. I think maybe 30 or 40% of the G1 purists would be into it. I think the majority of them would bitch because there'd be little things that were different, or it wasn't G1. I think the movie crowd would bitch about it. I think a small percentage might be into it because it is something new.
Small.
I think a lot of the Beast Wars, Armada, like those era people, would be complaining about why don't they do Beast Wars?
Or animated.
And I think I think a lot of the animated crowd would be like, why do we have this shit and we can't get the last season animated?
Yeah, true that.
I don't think any of those populations are significant enough.
Ooh.
You don't?
No, like aside.
You don't think that the majority?
Who are we gonna have on next week for saying this shit?
Like the animation crowd. Like I would just get all 5 of those people together and explain the final season never coming out. Yeah, just as my first phone call.
I already know it's not coming out though.
Right? No, I wouldn't have to probably explain it to him.
You know how shitty the G1 people are. They're at throats with the movie people, and then they can't even. And neither the movie people are pretty much unified because that's what they're used to. But the G1 crowd still bickers and fights.
Yeah, well, I think that the G1 crowd, I think that their main issue is that they haven't been exposed to IDW. The people that hate on it, like
they don't read.
Like we talked about, like that other time, like the people that hate Megatron being an Autobot. The people that. It's not the people that have read it. You know what I mean?
Are we talking about an IDW movie? I thought we were talking about a G1 movie.
Oh, I thought he said More Than Meets the Eye. Like I thought he was talking about IDW More Than Meets the Eye.
But let's say what if they did a.
Oh, my bad. I misunderstood.
What if they made a movie like the end of when Unicron got killed and everything? What if they made another movie after that? Did something after that like that?
Like a sequel to Transformers the movie?
They did. It was called Ghost of Starscream Part 1 and 2.
And it was called 5 Faces of Death or whatever the fuck.
Okay, God, a prequel then. God damn.
I think a prequel would work. Like I think that is like a gold mine that
Like
nobody has tapped into. Like that box, that pocket between 85 and 2005.
Well, they should do a prequel. Wait, hold on. They should do a prequel where like 5 rebel Autobots get the plans to the Unicron
Autobots.
So, spoiler alert for the
stolen it again.
Spoiler alert for the new issue of IDW Optimus Prime. They actually it's Alpha Trion telling a tale, and it features the original 13 Prime, Liege Maximo. You get a surprising connection between two characters. You get to see one in their I don't want to misgender this character, but you get to see them in their original form, and they're setting up like the war, like the time before, like everything that we know about like this Transformers universe, like predating anything we've ever seen before.
What was
they all looked super 70s and fucked up and shitty.
I'm talking
about the golden age.
I'm talking about specifically that space between season 2 and the movie, like that 20-year gap.
I heard prequel. I couldn't hear anything else.
Yeah, prequel to the movie.
Oh, okay.
Didn't Japan do that with their? It was kind of their movie. You know.
Nah, they did like a one episode that Scramble City shit, but that doesn't like.
I thought
that really wasn't some. That was not some tie-in.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
Had Minnesota in it.
Yeah, no, it's cool that it exists, but it doesn't really do the job.
Okay.
Even though I'm on a comic book podcast, if anyone reads that Optimus Prime book, let me know so we can discuss it, because I thought it was really risky and kind of clever what they did.
I mean, the story could like involve how the Decepticons eventually conquered the entirety of Cybertron, and the Autobots were pushed out to the moons, you know, and like introduce Blur and stuff. Don't just say, "Hey, Blur, I've been here all the time." You know, like that'd be good.
Like, when you talk about that kind of thing, it's the exact reason that I don't have a criticism of like War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron. Is they kind of lead up to, you know, which even any of the franchises, like the basic Transformers story, they kind of lead up to, and you can put your favorite continuity in here. You know, like if you love Titans Return, all that crap, like if it's there too, you know.
Right.
God, you're the voice of reason.
And raisins.
And raisins. You like Raisin Bran?
And
Justin?
raisins.
I do not.
You not like Raisin Bran?
I hate raisins.
Man, it will clean your colon out. Anyway, speaking of colon,
Man, I feel like anything you eat for dinner cleans your colon out.
you need to shut the fuck up, Paul.
You could eat glue, Matt.
Why? Because I'm a fat ass. All right, moving along.
You're always farting.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while though. It's been a while. Some stain for you.
In a while?
Yeah, I haven't farted in a while. I took a dump twice today. We'll move on to Transformer news, and Bobby still has a penis. Hasbro, this is gonna get some good, raise some eyebrows. Hasbro files against DC over Bumblebee trademark. Is Wiz Kahlifa next? Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Wiz
Khalifa. Whatever. Khalifa. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Anyway, so yeah, there was a big uproar about Hasbro trying to, push their big balls around and fuck with what the fuck? I don't want to skip this ad. Come on. So, anybody want to read this? Bobby likes reading. Bobby, you want to read this against DC?
I can if you would like me to.
All right. Black and yellow.
Black and yellow. Black and yellow. So this is from Variety, which is a fairly trusted news source. To be fair,
fake news.
2 superhero franchises are about to square off in federal court over the right to market Bumblebee toys. Hasbro, owner of the Transformers brand, filed a lawsuit on Monday accusing Warner Brothers and DC Comics of trademark infringement. The suit claims that the DC Bumblebee, a teenage girl with the ability to shrink, could easily be confused with the Autobot Bumblebee because they're fucking morons. Hasbro has a lot of riding on the Bumblebee character, set to star in the first Transformers spin-off, which is due in theaters in Christmas 2018. The company is now seeking to block the sales of Mattel's Bumblebee toy, which is part of the DC Superhero Girls line of action figures. Hasbro is also concerned about the Bumblebee Lego set. Bumblebee is one of the central heroes of the Transformers universe, blah, blah, blah. DC Comics and Warner Brothers announced the DC Superhero Girls franchise in 2015 as a partnership with Mattel. Hasbro filed for a trademark on the Bumblebee name July 15th, 2015. The trademark was registered December 22nd, 2015. Defendants, this is the quote, defendants and or their licenses use of the accused mark is likely to cause consumers mistakenly to believe that the accused goods emanate from or are otherwise associated with Hasbro, the suit alleges. Such improper use of the accused mark by defendants and or their licenses is likely to cause confusion, mistake, and or deception among the public as to the source of the accused goods. Warner Brothers did not immediately respond to the request for comment.
You know why? Because they're pussies.
They have a really weak... Sorry.
Did any prototypes of these dolls come out? Are they going to be hollow? Have lots of, empty spaces all over them?
Hey, if you don't like Transformers, you can get out.
I don't. That's why I don't buy them, Matt. I'm a third party. I hate Transformers, actually.
Third party.
Well, the thing is who
mistakes this shit, really?
Shout out to the guy who bought the Bumblebee doll thinking it was Bumblebee from the movie.
What? It doesn't transform.
I don't get it. No. That's not the issue. The issue is that's almost the issue. It's not, I think this is Bumblebee the Transformer. It's they think they're going to associate consumers. Hasbro's alleging that the name Bumblebee associated with this character and toy is going to confuse consumers that this is a Hasbro product.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, but it all comes back down to what you're saying, like, oh, Bumblebee, I guess it's fucking Transformers, but you see how your common sense is working there? It's because this really does work with common sense, like trademark infringement. And it's obviously, they have a very weak case, and they're just being super aggressive dickheads. And if I was DC Comics and I had all this money to waste, I would fucking send them a C&D and countersue and fuck their job up with trying to put movies out and products, because then they'd be like,
I don't want that. I don't want that now. Come on. Now.
They would go both ways then.
I feel like with the backlog of characters that DC has, I'm sure you could find some Transformer that's slightly infringing on the name somehow.
Like
sure,
super mode Optimus Prime Man.
Why don't they just call him Autobot Bumblebee, like they do with everything else?
I mean,
call it DC's Bumblebee.
Why the fuck aren't they going after a knockoff company?
Well,
that's true. That's true.
Because it's easy. One of them's based in the United States, and the other one is based in some place in China.
Sure. So with that being said, I feel like with Hasbro going after Warner Brothers, in the words of Matthew Deluxe Baldwin, you might want to bring a lunch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a big lunch.
I think this is sour grapes, because Hasbro's been doing this stupid shit with Autobot Jazz. They've lost the mark with so many things. They've had to adjust the names to register the marks again. They want. I'm sure they would be happy with they have the handout, and they're like, well, how come she can just be Bumblebee? It should be superhero Bumblebee. She should be called superhero Bumblebee. We've had to do that shit. Well, they should do that shit. Right. It's like sour grapes. It's bullshit. It's so crappy that they're doing this. It really leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Now, are they going after Warner? I mean, because I know Warner Brothers owns DC, but wouldn't it be Mattel, that really hit the brunt of this because they're producing the toy?
I don't know. That's not what the article suggests.
Yeah, I didn't have the article in front of me,
right. And I hadn't read it, to be fair. This is the first time reading it, but the article definitely suggests that it's a lawsuit.
It's Warner Brothers. Yeah.
It would have to be whatever corporate entity is the license holder for Bumblebee the superhero. Even if Warner Brothers is the parent company, that's why you have corporations and you have a separation. You can't pierce the corporate veil unless you have reason to.
Veil.
And as far as going after KO companies, we will be discussing that in our discussion. If you'll just stay tuned through all this bullshit that's about to come up.
And I want to backlog on that. This is not bullshit. Don't listen to what Greg says.
Piggyback, not backlog.
Hey, did you say black and yellow after you
13 times?
Okay, good. All right,
good. Swell. Glad you're on.
Swell.
I hope, you know what? Fuck it. I hope Hasbro wins. Fuck DC. Moving on. Let's see. We got comics news. Okay, cool. Andre Griffith.
Andrew Griffith.
First of all, we are on first name basis that I can call him Andrew. Okay?
Andre Griffin.
Andrew the Griffith.
Andrew Griffith. IDW RID concept art.
Wait, wasn't Andrew the Griffith the name of that purple thing from that one G1 episode?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. That was like the quintessential G1 episode where Megatron's master plan was to build the purple griffin.
I really don't know why y'all let me host. I can't read. I'm sorry.
Well, Robert was going to host, but he had his mouth full of meatball sandwiches.
Luckily, reading is not a requirement to talk about Transformers.
Fuck y'all. I can read. God damn it.
Yeah, we don't do aptitude tests and we don't do background checks.
So wait a second. Matt goes and says, "I don't know why you let me host. I can't read." And then when someone says reading's not a requirement, he's like, "Fuck you, I can read." Like you're.
I can go back and do that. Okay.
So this first image is what?
Andrew Griffith.
Andrew explains that this alt mode is based on a 3-axle communications heavy striker type vehicle. Details how he planned to introduce Soundwave's little partners for this idea. When I redesigned Soundwave and Company as trucks and bikes for RID, this is how I saw Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, Rumble Frenzy deploying.
I think this would look totally cool if it was in like a G.I. Joe versus Transformers thing. Like this is totally the vehicles they should have been.
Yeah.
I don't know how true it is, but apparently in a from what I've read, in a abandoned script or like plan for, I think it was either Revenge of the Fallen or Dark of the Moon. This was supposed to have been about what Soundwave's alt mode was going to be. So I'm guessing maybe Dark of the Moon, just because like he kind of served a function in the first one slightly, his first appearance. But,
I'm not crazy about these other sketches. I mean, they're well done. I just don't like the designs themselves specifically.
Yeah, I like Soundwave. I like Soundwave more than I like any of the other ones personally too.
Well, it was just supposed to be Soundwave, and then I stumbled upon these other two. So.
Gotcha.
Starscream's
don't want to be racist.
Starscream's got some dildos on his wings or something coming out.
Yeah, Starscream could stand a pack on a pound or two, if you know what I mean.
He could eat a hamburger or some steak and potatoes or something.
Well, Starscream does seem like the type of character that would keep dildos handy. Don't you agree, Matt?
You need to shut your mouth.
Don't you agree, Matt?
Dude only has 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers.
What's Bumblebee? Is that what kind of car is that?
That's a question for Justin.
I have no idea.
God damn it, Justin! 0 for 2. 0 for 2.
It's the wrong type of car. I don't care for that type of car.
What do I need to? What questions do I need to ask you about cars then? Camaros?
You mean an illegal alien car?
Yeah.
Justin,
and you would do better with Camaros. Yes, I know more about them than most others.
Justin, do you say Jaguar or Jaguar?
Jaguar.
You say Andre or Andrew?
I'll bet you Bobby says Jaguar. Bobby.
I actually say Andrew.
Bobby, I bet you Bobby says Jaguar.
No, I say Jaguar.
Why?
I don't know.
That's the one word he pronounces correctly.
The English say Jaguar. You ever seen the TV commercials?
Yeah, but I can't get into that. It's too much. It's just like there's just like the figuarts. Like
you can draw the line.
You can do Sword, but you can't do Jaguar.
Yeah, well, this
you can do theater.
That's the theater. I don't know how I fucked that one up, but that's just ingrained in me.
You should say Jaguar.
Ingrained. All right, we have what? All right, we got conventions. Bobby's Penis Convention. Man, that's gonna be fun.
Man, that's gonna be fun.
If you are planning to do HasCon, don't forget your insulin.
Matt, are you going now or what?
Oh fuck yeah! That black and yellow donut.
I just got my insulin. Fuck yeah, I'm going.
The Bumblebee Honey Hero Donut.
That donut is salty. Look at it. It actually is salty.
They're like, look, we got some exclusives that are really gonna rock your fucking socks off.
Dude, this shit made my teeth hurt just to fucking read the fucking post.
Yeah, that's a lot of sugar right there. And it says, and a Pinkie Pie sprinkle surprise. All right.
Ooh.
Listen, the Bumblebee donut looks delicious. I would totally have the Bumblebee donut.
Yeah, but the last time I
could do away with the sugar on top of the black and yellow, but
no, you gotta say black and yellow.
It looks like it's made out of meat.
The last time I had a Pinkie Pie surprise,
meat.
I woke up 3 days later in a van,
a coma,
abandoned by in a park.
I'm gonna do that shit randomly to people at TFCon when I meet them. I'm just gonna like give them a hug and be like, "What's up, my little Pinkie Pie rainbow surprise?"
Are you gonna throw sprinkles on it?
Or Pinkie Pie sprinkle surprise?
Look at the fat ass that took this picture of this Pinkie Pie surprise. Someone ate a fucking M&M off of it, and they still took the picture.
Yeah.
Dude, are you gonna throw glitter at them or
Bob, you didn't notice that?
I didn't notice it, man. I'm sorry.
Do you see it now?
Man, that looks so good. Anyway, moving on to third-party news. Bobby still has a penis. Thank God. Iron Factory coneheads in glorious Technicolor. I'm excited for these. That's just me. I love Iron Factory. So
I mean, I think it's I think we probably should have. We knew these were coming, or no?
Yeah, we did. It's a 3-pack, and they can finish off Sunstorm now. So that'll be good.
Yeah, I mean that's good that they're doing them. I think they look good.
This is just another time. It's so much. They're not important enough to show them a million fucking times. Now when they come in the mail, I'm just like,
it's so much.
I'm just gonna be, great, they're here. I'm gonna fucking throw the box to the side.
Hey, before you get triggered, there wasn't a lot of news, and I was padding it, and then all of a sudden, we kind of had a decent amount of news. So this is your favorite thing, Robert?
Hey,
I added these for you.
I'm not knocking you, Greg.
And you're old enough to remember when Technicolor was like a new thing.
Yeah.
So
I want to back up Greg. I want to back up Greg on this one. We have not seen these. I want to say this is probably the first time we've seen pictures of these. Anyway,
in color.
No, I wasn't. I was saying it like we just knew these were coming.
No. I'm talking about Robert. I'm just talking about Robert.
But Robert's been saying that recently, and that is an interesting thing. Like when you see so many pictures, when you are inundated with information about stuff, does it take away something from when you get it in hand?
Now,
for some people it does.
Fun fact: do you know how to know when Robert's coming? He starts crying.
You hear me breathing? I hear someone breathing. Fucking Robert's 10 blocks away.
Robert, you did sound like you were in trouble when you first got on the podcast.
You have no idea how I had to feed these kids in like a span of 5 minutes. And
you throw food at them? I throw food at my dog, like a piece of meat, like the ham or turkey. I'll just throw it at their faces.
Did you have no food and you had to actually run to a store? I mean, just curious.
It was just crazy.
You're crazy.
Azalea's insane. All right. Yesterday, she runs into the bathroom. She's like, potty, duty. I know Bobby's kids, each of them potty training. They would wait in line. They would ring a bell. Ding, ding, ding. Father, I must poop. And then they would go to their potty. They would sit down, go in the potty. They'd clean it up, wipe it out, disinfect the whole bathroom, put it away. At 2.5 years old.
Not true.
Yeah, they had separate lines. Like one's on the left, two's on the right.
That's not true.
Yes, Azalea was like, potty, poo-poo. I'm like, okay, let's go. You want to encourage them using the potty. Well, I go to pull down the shorts. They're stuck to a diaper, so everything falls down to her feet. There's already a big load of poop in there. He steps out, trips, steps in it. And then she steps away, fucking stepping shit all over the bathroom floor. And then she's like, ew. And then she sits on the potty, gets shit all over the potty. And then she goes, ew, duty. And then she puts her hand in it. Then she jumps up, trips, and then jumps back in the shit diaper.
And that's how X-Transbots was born.
Like 10 seconds. This all happened in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. This all went
Oh, God.
And I was like, can I make her clean the bathroom? I swear to God, that went through my head. I was like,
Robert D in the stories.
Should I make her clean the bathroom?
I'm sure in Robert's extreme left house, it's just, oh baby, they'll learn how to use the bathroom when they're ready.
Just let them do it.
Robert, don't worry about it, Robert. Just one day they'll get tired of sitting in their own filth, and they'll just say, you know what, I'm going to use the bathroom, and they'll just do it on their own. And don't worry about bedtime. Let them go to sleep when they're tired, Robert. When they're
don't worry about school. Let them stay home.
Let them live free like a bird, Robert.
Bobby, I need to correct you actually here.
Uh-oh.
No. In Robert's extreme left household,
I knew that's where you got.
She would come busting in with bandana over her face and a fucking makeshift shield.
That is true. That is
knocking
true.
back poops.
The extreme left does mean something different within the last 6 months.
Yeah. Well, it's actually meant something different in the last 20, 30 years,
Seconds?
but it's only now just getting like the media attention. So that's why it seems like a new thing.
You know what else needs media attention?
This
Fanshobby Powerbaser test shot and fat shaming.
Big old booty prime.
Dude,
See
this fucking thing looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
You know, I'm not really into this. Like, the Powermaster Prime means nothing to me, but like, I will admit that this looks like a fucking imposing Prime.
In terms of the character, it really doesn't mean very much to me. I didn't really like Master Force, but I did have this toy as a kid, and so there is a large nostalgia value to having Powermaster Prime as an adult. So
hey, Justin, would you say booty 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 rocking it everywhere?
I don't even know what you said, Matt. So
I think that's more his
booty,
back.
booty, booty, rocking it everywhere. Booty 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 rocking. Okay.
I think it's more his back.
Man, I can't wait to see this thing pulling like one of those little U-Haul trailers.
Because it's moving.
Armor.
Yeah, they better do that. I hope they do. Do we know if they're gonna? Okay. Good.
Yeah, they show concepts of that.
Oh, real quick, I wanted to tell this story I've been meaning to tell. We were at NJCC a couple weeks ago. And internet personality Justin L was there from the show Total Knockout. Is it Total Knockout? Total.
All right, Matt. Let's get this podcast moving on.
TKO.
TKO.
Which I've been listening to, and it's been
WTF.
I've been listening to every week. Anyway, here's the funny story, right? So they have like a raffle every hour, and they had like Omega Supreme. Fans Toys Omega Supreme was one of the things that they raffled off. So like, there's some good shit that's raffled off.
I thought you were talking. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the podcast was raffling something off every hour. I got lost, and I was like, dude, those dudes are broke as fuck. They don't raffling.
Like
they're just lying.
Play Arts Kai, Deadpool was one of the things that auctioned off. Like, there was a lot of good shit auctioned off. So anyway,
Jason Lowry won that, didn't he? The Deadpool.
Yeah, he did. That's a great figure too. Shout out to Jason. So anyway, they pull this one raffle ticket and they yell it, and Justin L's like, "That's me!" And they hand him like this 3 3/4 Marauders figure, which is a cool figure, but it's just like a very niche thing. You know what I mean? Like, and like they're giving away all these like really like mainstream kind of big deal gifts, and they hand him this figure, and he reaches out to get it, and the only thing that his face can muster for a sound is
I can see doing that too. Like, oh god.
It was just like you could. It was so fucking funny, man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because they have some really good shit and other stuff. You're like, what? Like they have that limited edition X-wing pilot.
Yeah, the Luke, the Black Series 40, the Celebration exclusive. Crazy.
Yeah. And then they'll have like a fucking lunchbox.
Yeah.
So let me ask you
a thermos too.
We cruised around the front of the con and we picked this 25-cent junker out of this guy's bin.
Yeah.
Going to.
Now, let me ask you a question, Bob. Let's interview Bobby real quick, like we did Maz. What about this prototype Powermaster Prime that's been getting fat shamed online made you think about Justin L?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. So my brother had the Powermaster Optimus Prime. He asked for Optimus Prime for Christmas, and my mother got him this one because it was the only one available at the time. And when he opened it up and he saw it, he said, "What is this?" And she said, "It's Optimus Prime," and he made a very similar sound.
That's a nice save, Bobby.
Yeah, nice save on the fat ass.
No, I mean that's where it came from. Like, because like I used to joke him about his, because I had like the G1 and my shit was all beat up. It was missing the hands and everything else, but it looked like fucking Optimus. You know what I mean? So I used to fuck with him all the time. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, hey, bring out Optimus Prime and I'll bring out Optimus Prime and we'll fucking have a little war. And he'd be like, mine's
Cream.
Mine's fine too. Like it was, it was just a yeah.
Hey, isn't speaking about the Omega, isn't Hung giving away his Omega?
Yeah, he's getting, so the guy that won the Omega Supreme in a raffle, he came up to the table and Hung was like, look, if you want this one, you can have it. You can walk out of here with it tomorrow after the show. It's yours. Or if you'd rather a brand new one out of box, just send me your address and I'll send you that one. And
damn.
He
Nice.
went with the latter. So
Let's give it up for him, man.
Yeah, Hung's a good guy, damn it. So he's giving away the prototype as well.
So don't they have a black one of this one too, the Fanshobby? Isn't there a black one?
Whoa! When's he giving that away?
I don't know. It's in the Facebook shit.
It's
got like a contest.
It's a raffle.
It's a raffle for. He got to buy tickets. I think you buy $20 worth of tickets, and that's it.
You buy
How much
for
are the
$20
tickets?
for $20 you get like 70 tickets. He like does it by measurement. He's like, you get an arm length.
Yeah, an arm length. Like that's a common. That's a fairly.
Yeah, you get the 4 Bobby Skullface dicks for $20.
But there's no slots. It's just it's whoever wants until he runs out of tickets.
Speaking of Bobby's dick, man, I'm sleeping in his house in about 30 days. I better not wake up to that thing in my face.
No, relax.
Oh, it won't be in your face.
But anyways, are they are doing? They're doing a Nemesis Prime, right, of this one too, right?
More than likely.
I thought we already saw. Okay. Anyways, cool. Let's move on to. We got some GigaPower news. All right, Graviter.
They just put it together.
Okay. With duct tape and glue.
Yeah, it looks good.
Those are good.
There's some beefy guys, some beefy fellas.
You like beefy fellas, right? That's what your grinder says.
I do. They're all right. I like him. He looks good. He's shiny. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about the head though. The dino head.
You can take that plastic thing off, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a feature of theirs.
Yeah. Okay.
It's because they're toy centric designs, so they come with toy optional parts.
It makes it look like he's had brain surgery and he needs that to protect his skull.
Like one of the cones for a dog. I like these. I would, if I didn't have the Fans Toys ones, I'd probably go with these. But
if you didn't have the Fans Toys ones, you don't really have a whole bunch of other options. I mean,
I do too. I have my G1.
You have the Fans Project ones, I suppose.
I have the DX9 Legends. You shut up, Hudson.
You don't have.
Oh. Speaking of Fans Toys, I didn't add it, but just I'll mention it now.
Fans
Toys.
So they released that corrected head sculpt for purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the blue one and the metallic one still have the original head sculpt, but don't fear, you can still buy the corrected head sculpt in blue and silver, metallic silver for $20.
How much? $20? That's a steal, man.
You know what? I'm fine.
That's CFC money.
I can understand why one would want the G1, right? The true accurate one. But I'm okay with it being different. So I don't really have a problem with that. It would bother me if they assumed you'd want the cartoon accurate one.
Like assuming genders?
I assume that you are.
If you're buying the more G1 cartoon-centric Dinobot set on the market, they're like, yeah, you want everything G1 except the fucking head sculpts, huh?
Well, I don't know.
Greg, are you going to get back into the GigaPower stuff?
I might get it at some
point. Since it looks like they might be finishing them.
Well, I had no doubt they were going to finish them.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying. Is this bringing you back? They got 3 of them now, and I think we've seen Swoop, haven't we? And Grimlock.
I like the size of the robot mode, so I could very well get these as robots and then put my Fans Toys into Dino mode. I very well could do that. I don't think that's very unreasonable with all the doubling these days, like Bobby and his combiners. It's just for an example.
Exactly, double down.
I don't know. They're a little pricey. I don't know how much this one's going to be because the last one was like 130, I think. I don't know if this one's going to go back up to close to 200 or if they're gonna hold that line.
Well, the thing that I think is interesting about this whole thing, and like I don't think it necessarily looks bad, but my question is like, what's their sales gonna look like at this point? Like, there is already, the option of a complete Dinobot set, and there's probably some people who have picked up GigaPower and they've been waiting patiently. But like, how do you think this is gonna sell, honestly?
Well, if you look at the comments on the GigaPower page, about 80% of people commenting are excited for the set, and about 20% are Fans Toys people that are trolling them by posting pictures of their Fans Toys and saying, I got completed Dinobots. So I think there's still a strong following for these.
They do that?
Yeah.
Fans Toys fans do that shit?
Yeah.
Damn it. Fans Toys.
They did that shit on fucking TFW so bad GigaPower stopped posting for a while. I don't even know if they if they post now or not.
Is TFW just a shit site?
Well, I mean, it was on Facebook as well. I mean,
okay, cool.
I don't know if the social media platforms are the shit in this situation or if it's anyway. But
is anybody getting these? I mean, I was going to ask anybody. I mean, Bobby, are you in on these?
No, Bobby's out, right?
No, I'm out.
You're out? Okay. Justin?
Nope, I wasn't in to begin with.
Okay. Robert D? All right, good. Talking to his kids, probably.
He's pre-ordering this motherfucker right now.
He probably is. Well, we are done with... I'm sorry. Go on.
I was just saying, I think it looks fine. I think there's a lot of people...
Yeah, they look good.
A lot of people that are in for it. I think a lot of people did tap out early because they just couldn't wait. That just wanted to have a set.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to discount that at all when I bring that up. It's just like we've seen... A lot of times it's, when whoever strikes first ends up getting most of the market. And, like, unlike a lot of, the Trailbreaker Wars or the Inferno Wars and all that stuff, like, now, like, here's a Dinobot that at this point, like, over, how long has Sledge been out? Like, a year? Over a year now? So, I mean, like, it's, like, that's my whole thing is, like, we've had a complete set of Dinobots for almost a year, pushing a year. I know, Grinder isn't quite, he came out this year, I'm pretty sure, but like for the most part we've had a complete set, so I really wonder
but
how this is going to be received.
To be on the GigaPower side, like we did start them, so we kind of have to finish them, don't we?
Well, yeah, and I think it'd be even worse if they decide not to finish them at this point, but at the same time I can't help but wonder about the financial sense that it makes,
Right.
Well, this is also a completely different aesthetic, though. I mean, just as much as people
they're bigger, too.
Yeah, just as much as people want more like MP10 style. I think we've discussed that before. Like, I'm into the more cartoon accurate. Some people like that balance with Hasui. Like his designs. That's his name, right? Hasui?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do these go better with
these are more toy style, and people like that. Especially, if you have a personal connection to the Dinobot toys as a kid. But I actually jumped out of the frying pan into the fire because I'm waiting on. Speaking of waiting a long time, I'm waiting on that Perfect Fusion to finish up my set because it's better. It looks better than Scoria, and now that's kind of delayed.
Do you think the GigaPower one's scale with the Tour World, Debbie?
I wouldn't. I don't
think
I had.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I had them at the same time or not. Actually, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, anyways, we are done with third party news.
Yay!
And we got Hasbro news. Only one thing. Now you can be super duper nerd.
He added a duper to those notes.
I think the guy. I think the dude that criticized Bobby's video on the Cool Table page probably owns a couple sets of these.
This is a Missy Elliott kind of thing. Super duper.
Yeah, World of Warcraft, superior to, what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, Bobby, Magic. Your Magic card going.
Yeah, I finally have some place to put my Magic cards.
All right.
Trash.
Are you gonna get these at HasCon, Bobby?
No, Matthew, I won't be attending.
What? I thought you had a table.
This confuses me a lot. Like, I don't understand where this came from, considering like there is no like. A lot of times people like either generic or they like their sleeves like branded for the card game they're playing, right?
Right.
Like so. I just don't know if I necessarily understand the Transformers stuff if there's no Transformers-based card product to go with it.
Well, this is for when you're like at the game shop or the comic shop or the hobby shop and you're playing Magic, but you want to get like maximum social possibilities. Mm-hmm. So you make sure you put like every nerd branding. Like you wear like a He-Man shirt, you got Magic cards and a Autobot fucking holder, you know.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
I have my business cards in an Autobot card holder. Good.
I heard those were printed. I heard those were printed on human flesh. Is that true?
No, it's metal.
On my human flesh.
If it was really metal, it would be human flesh, but that's neither here nor there.
Ah.
Yeah.
So we're done with Hasbro news. All right. Well, that sucks, man. We didn't have any Hasbro news last week.
That's 2 weeks in a row. We're fucking swinging for the fences.
Well, they're getting ready for HasCon and NYCC, I'm sure.
And TFCon.
Yeah, they don't want you to know about all those fucking repaints, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we got statue news. Oh, Bobby still don't have a penis. Oh, you don't have a penis now.
Oh, I need to update my my page because I don't see that yet.
We got a Squeeks half-scale statue. All right. So, oh my God, it's $1,500.
That should have been full scale considering Squeeks was not that big. That should have been full scale.
Buying this?
There's only 500 made, Robert D. Shut your mouth.
JKW's buying them. JKW's parents buying them for Christmas gifts.
Parents.
Like, look, I'm not really into Transformers. I only collect Squeeks. different Squeeks.
Did y'all not like the Squeeks I sent y'all? The GT trap with the little shaking and rolling and shaking?
So in that collection, Bobby, you would have this statue and the entire Fans Toys catalog, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I forgot how bad this damn Jetfire was. I picked it up today, and I'm glorious. That's a thigh swivel.
Dude, you should really just stop buying Fans Toys, dude. You don't enjoy them. Like it's like the most abusive relationship I've ever seen in my life. Like,
I have to have them though, but I hate them.
All their shit, and you don't enjoy them.
But I love him.
Oh, I enjoy quite a few of them. The only one I really, in recent memory, I didn't enjoy. The Galvatron, I didn't enjoy the transformation, and I thought the Lupus was kind of subpar. I think you would agree.
Kickback. Yeah, but I mean, like, you don't like the Jetfire. You forgot how bad it is. Like,
Lupus.
it's just, like, I mean,
no, I didn't forget how. No, I didn't. I enjoyed the Jetfire a lot. No, I forgot how bad the Squeeks were.
Oh, I don't know. It just seems like sometimes I feel like, man, like you feel like, not you personally, but one feels like they need a Jetfire. And it's kind of the only player in town, so they like go in on it, and they're like, but like they don't really dig it.
Oh no, I would have gotten the X2 Toys one.
It's like a one-legged hooker in Baltimore or something. You know, you just don't have very many good choices in Baltimore.
No, I look forward to what's going to squeak on them sometimes.
We like guessing.
I said this the other day, but I couldn't find a Fans Toys figure in my collection that squeaked the other day. Like it was like a couple weeks ago. I went to do a sit down Saturday, and I was doing a bit, and I was talking about Fans Toys squeaking, and then I was just gonna have a whole bunch of cut scenes like right after, like, you know, because the thing about them, sometimes they squeak and there's like, I was gonna play them back to back. Couldn't find one that did it.
I have a feeling the WD-40 Fairy visited the Skullface household before that video.
I think Greg, his next Fans Toys purchase, he's going to open it up, take it out. There's not going to be one squeak. He's going to put it back in the box, and then slowly walk away into the distance.
No,
my next Fans Toys purchase is going to be that fucking Omega, hopefully. I hope that thing squeaks. Like, I hope I get noise.
Oh, I can tell you it's in the knees. That's where the squeak is. It's in the knees.
Dude, that face sculpt, I usually think their face sculpts suck, like, for the most part. But man, that face sculpt on that Omega, like, that's just, I'm looking at pictures of people that already have theirs.
I like
and I'm like,
man,
that's breathtaking. Yeah, no, I just recently handled the Perceptor. I had to.
That one. Yeah. I'll give you that one. But they're spot on, most of them.
Yeah,
right?
I like more
after
than I
they
don't
replace
like.
them. After they replace them with new parts.
Buy some fishing line.
That Omega is fucking breathtaking. I don't know what it is about that sculpt.
Yeah.
Like just looking at that face.
I think they're getting their stuff in. I think people are getting their stuff in this week or next week, right? For Omega, the part A or whatever.
It's funny. I actually I spoke to Make Toys today, briefly, and
Make Toys or just one guy?
Did they hit you up on Twitter?
I say Make Toys. I mean, obviously, I didn't speak to like a board of representatives.
He talked to a box.
Yeah.
Did you call them Maka Toys?
No, I sat down all my Make Toys figures and I just spoke to them. But you know, we were talking and I was saying how like I was like, you know, there's all these people that think I'm in cahoots with Fans Toys. And I was like, I've never spoke to them outside of that one email from 2013 that we did for Shattered Cast. I've never fucking spoken to them. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, we thought that you had. I was like, I don't fucking talk to these companies. Like, what world do you think? Like, I don't know. Like,
it's up to you, Make Toys.
They're literally the only company that I have any sort of a relationship with. Like, there's no other company. I have exchanged one email with Fans Toys in 2013. I exchanged one email with Bad Cube in 2016, and I spoke to the guy that and his wife that run Bold Forms at TFCon in 2016, and that is literally the only interaction I've had with third-party companies.
I talked to Bold Form in 2015, but
Hey, was the Makai Toy? Was it Max Headroom when you talked to him?
What?
The guy you talked to at Makai Toys, was the Max Headroom.
I don't know. Excedrin?
Max Headroom.
So I had a thought today, Bobby, because I don't see this going anywhere. I had a thought today. I actually, when I first picked up this Jetfire, the Skyfire, before the show, I was like thinking it was weird that Fans Toys doesn't have a relationship with you. Like, you should be getting like hams at the holidays and like boxes of like assorted nuts, cookies and shit. Like
Bobby's favorite assorted nuts.
Shut the fuck up. The thing is like
Skullfest After Dark. You mean?
I generally enjoy their products. Like they speak my language. So yeah, like I'll make it clear, like to anyone that wants to listen, like if they want to have a relationship, like all they got to do is swipe right. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm
left lately.
I'm up for it, but like I don't. I wish I did, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, wouldn't it be funny if they reached out to me first before they did Bobby?
Yes.
That would be hilarious.
We might need to do an expose on this Bobby Fans Toys connection thing because something's not adding up.
So what else happened in your conversation with Make Toys?
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, it was a little bit about some stuff I can't disclose openly quite yet.
Little bit of Monica in your life.
Yeah.
A little bit of Monica on the side.
So look, my brother, one of my not my brother that got the Power Master Optimus Prime. He's the one that's in jail here and there.
You got, man?
Well, no wonder you got a Power Master Prime.
Yeah, I have a like I come from a trailer park, Matthew. So I have
big familia, huh?
So I have 2 half brothers and 4 step brothers.
Big surprise there.
So I got 1 half brother that got the Power Master Prime, and he's not doing well, but he is he doesn't have this particular issue we're getting ready to get into. My other brother,
he got a Beast Wars figure. Oh Jesus Christ!
He's always kind of.
Is that the one with the double wide?
My other brother? No, my other brother. He's got a house. He's got a house.
Hey, first of all, hey, don't knock the double wides, bitch. There's some nice double wides out there.
Look, I've been in some.
No, I'm not talking about you. Don't talk about Robert D. He's knocking in his little, 1,100 square apartment that he lives in New York City.
I've been in some double wides that are nicer than houses.
Oh yeah, there are some nice fucking double wides.
Double wide.
Shut up. So look, so he in high school, he's always kind of marched to his own drummer. he in high school, there was like a talent show, and he came out and did a dance routine to that song. A
little bit of Gregory.
Yeah. Is that the Macarena? What is that? No.
You know what the fuck that's called. Don't even try that like you don't.
You sounded like such an old man just now.
Look, I didn't. All that shit came out around the same time.
Say it with me. Say it. Mambo number 5.
Mambo number 5. Yep. He came out and did like a whole dance routine to that song for like the talent show. And I mean, like it was like high school kids. So when it was all over, they're all looking at him like, what the fuck is your problem? So what's funny is a guy that I work with, he went to my brother's high school. So like when I talk about my family, like I'll be like, yeah, my brother, and he'll be like the heroin guy or the Mambo number 5 guy.
Mambo number 5. Somebody in the background go, ha, gay.
Man, I can't believe you let your coworkers talk about your brother like that, man.
That's messed up, man.
That's messed up, man. Bro.
I mean, it'd be different if they were like the guy that did Spice Girls. I'd be like, hey, man, my brother didn't do Spice Girls, all right? But they're talking facts.
Because of the girls, spice up my life.
What's that song? Macarena?
I was really hoping Heroin Brother was different than Power Mr. Prime Brother because I had a joke lined up for that, but
sing some Spice Girls.
That same Christmas, one got Power Mr. Prime, one got Easy Bake Meth Lab.
No, I don't think any of my family has been touched by meth yet.
Touched by penis.
Sounds like a new show.
Yeah.
Moving on. We still got some statue news.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we do.
I will sing some Spice Girls later on, so get ready for that.
Oh wait, which one is this? Because I'm gonna go get a drink.
We got the Moss Megatron, which goes with that big ass Optimus Prime.
This thing was
fuck up, Robert. God damn it.
What do you say?
Robert's funny. Robert is very funny.
No, what did he say? What did funny man say?
He said, "Did you do the box art for this one?"
Oh, did you?
Because it's Moss.
Oh, did you?
No.
They could call you Mega Skullface.
I'm gonna go get a drink real quick. Can I just say real quick just before because I'm gonna get a drink so you guys aren't like, Greg, are you there? Are you muted?
Are you going?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a fucking alcoholic beverage because it's been 2 hours. This thing was cool. I like how there's parts that come off of it. I think the design's a little weird. It's not for me, but I think it looks pretty good. All right,
I think this looks amazing. I would love. Yeah, I do. I love this. But I just don't have a place for it. But I think this looks fucking incredible.
I think it looks like Despotron had a baby with MP Megatron.
I agree.
I know a perfect place for it. Clear off this goddamn Tetrajet shelf.
There you go. Dude, it's funny, Joe. I have these 3 statues, these Disney statues of Song of the South characters, because my grandma used to read me Uncle Remus stories when I was a kid.
Mermaid? You mean Mermaid?
No, like I have Bear, Fox, Bear, Rabbit, right? And like, Joe can't stand them. Like he wants them out of my house immediately. Like they have their own shelf in a DTOF. It pisses him off. Every time he looks at him, he's like, "What is that, man? Get it out of here."
Oh, Joe.
Joe, you don't pay rent there.
Joe, you have no soul.
No.
No.
Joe's on the level, Plus, I like ball breaking. Like that's my language. So. Anyways, I know that Joe would think that he knows a good place for this to go in my collection.
Well, since you did the box art, did they send you one?
I didn't do the box art. They didn't send me one. I have no relationship with Mega, whatever the fuck this is.
Mega Skullface.
Much like every other in existence, I don't have any relationship with it.
So, Bobby, can you tell us your up and coming box art stuff? What you got going on?
Yeah, I got nothing. Nothing on the works. Nothing planned.
I need to make some calls for Bob and bait and bot tackle, whatever.
What was I going to... Oh, speaking of collections, this is a bit of a tangent, but fuck it.
What?
I was at Pinkerton's house Sunday. I think Saturday or Sunday.
Ow.
And I went into his basement, so to speak.
Oh, I bet you did.
He was like, "I got to show you my train collection." I was like, "Oh no!"
It's a bunch of dudes.
No. So I went down there and like, he's got these billies set up, and he's got shit all like 1/12 scale figures all over the billies. It looks good. And then he took me over to this corner.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this
I like where this goes.
He said, "Smell this rag real quick."
He's got this L-shaped setup of DTOFs. It's like 8 DTOFs, 4 on one side of the L, and then 4 perpendicular to it. And dude, he has his DC Hot Toys set up in one of them, and I've never been so envious of a collection in real life. Like,
you got jealous?
I got jealous. Like the way, and
Were you like hating jealous or
no. Like up until that point, I had no interest in any of that shit. I was like, look, I'm good with the Star Wars Hot Toys, and I'm good there. Seeing that shit, I was fucking spellbound. Like, it looked spectacular. I even said to him, because he's got his masterpiece in third-party stuff in the other 4 DTOFs. I was like, this Transformer shit, it's got to go. It's got to go. It doesn't look right next to this shit. Like, it's got to be relocated, because like all of his collection Transformer-wise is stuff that I like as well, with the exception of that Combiner Wars Devastator. That's really got to go. But the rest of it is all stuff that I like as well. But next to that Hot Toys display, the way that his shit is set up, I mean, it looks like junk.
Does he have a Marvel Legends display?
Well, he's got a Billy set up with 1/12 scale.
I think wasn't they talking about on ATR? I think he was talking about it, or somebody else was talking about that, his setup like that.
Yeah, dude, that Hot Toy setup he has is
got that Hot Toy money.
I'm telling you, that shit put that whole like line of products into a whole different bracket for me. Seeing it set up the way that his is, I was like, God damn, this shit looks sharp.
I hope he invites me over when I'm up there so I can go see his stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure. I don't know how long you're gonna be here, but yeah, I'm sure we can make it happen.
I'll be there from Friday to Sunday.
Yeah. We'll make it happen Friday, Matt.
Where? I thought we wanted to see some hookers.
No, well, they're called strippers, Matt. Let's be respectful.
Oh, my bad.
He's like, what else do I get for my $1?
No, well, look, I'll tell you how it goes. I'll tell you how it goes on the block. You can buy a $5 drink, a $20 drink, a $60 drink, or a $100 drink.
Damn. What do I get with that $1 drink?
There's no dollar drink.
God.
But the $100 drink gives you syphilis.
Exactly.
And herpes. It keeps on giving. Okay, yeah, the Megatron, speaking about the Megatron, it looks good. I think it goes with that big Optimus Prime, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Okay. We got one more.
We didn't get Justin's thoughts on this.
Oh, yeah. Justin, what do you think about this Megatron?
I think it looks good. So, I don't have really much to say.
Are you going to get it?
No, I'm not a statue person. I think it looks good. I could see if nobody had done a Megatron that worked for me for my collection, I could see doing this, like, even though it doesn't transform, because Megatron's just a pain in the ass when it comes to a transforming figure. But yeah, I mean, it looks good. Looks good.
But don't you want to know that he transforms even if you're not going to transform him?
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of kind of what I'm saying there is, like, companies have come out and done it, even Takara's. They've come out and they've done it in a way that it works. He can transform and it looks like Megatron. So for me, like, I don't need something like this at all. But it looks good, and unlike the Ultra Magnus, like, if I did need a Megatron, I'd certainly grab this one first. So before I got that Ultra Magnus they made.
Hey, Greg, are you gonna get this?
I probably am not. I already said I do like the way it looks. Bobby, are you familiar with the Hard Times, the website?
No,
I thought we're all familiar with Hard Times.
Just the real shit.
It's a satire site. They usually stick to punk rock related satire. It's still pretty funny though.
High Times.
Like having at the Warp Tour. I don't know if you're familiar with the Warp Tour.
Yeah.
Having 100-foot barriers because they don't want kids close to sex offenders and shit like that. Well, they just posted that there's an Aunt Beru spinoff film in the works from Disney. They had a job listing up for someone to write video game satire, and I almost applied Just because I was like, man, I got some good ideas for video game satire, but I knew as soon as I did it, I'd run out of ideas and look like an idiot. But yeah, so there's an Aunt Beru spin-off film coming, apparently.
What about Aunt May?
Young Aunt May, I think that was called Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
She looked good.
She did.
I lick her belly button.
And now the show just got weird.
That's not.
Oh, it just now got weird? We got one more statue news.
I get a hotel massage with Robert.
No shit.
Yeah,
Nobody invited me for a massage. Fuck y'all, man.
At a questionable crack motel.
We got one more, and this looks fucking beautiful. Imaginarium Art Rodimus Prime prototype statue. Closer pics. And this thing looks fucking beautiful to me.
Let's see.
Yeah, we talked about it before. I think it was on display at a con or something. I think it's got like, I want to say it has like a Shark Con or something with it, or some show that. Yeah. But
oh, it has a shark. Oh, it's stepping on the Sharkticon or like a head or something, or is...
I don't remember. There's something else to it. I think.
Like, I love shit like this, man. Like the little extra details. Like all that shit in the ribs and all that, like it's still definitely a G1 Rodimus. Like it's unmistakably a G1 Rodimus, but it just has that little extra touch to it. Like I'm a big
touch.
Yeah. Well,
he didn't even do that. He didn't know he did it.
I didn't. It was accidental.
You're that good.
So why aren't you buying this one?
Yeah, Bobby. Because I just I'm just not taking my collection Transformer wise in that direction.
Are you fat shaming him?
No, I don't think he's fat.
Why does he have that crease across his chest?
And hey, you can only fat shame someone if they're ashamed of being fat.
Are you going to misgender him and call him Rodimus Mrs. Rodimus Prime?
No, I'm not even gonna walk into that web of shit.
Shit.
Ooh, look at that.
I think where you stand on the subject.
Extreme right wing.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Look, now I feel like I gotta fucking say something.
Bobby Reich face.
Hold on one second. Whatever you want to do to fucking make yourself happy, and whatever you do is right for you, I'm on board.
Just don't do it in my neighborhood.
No, by all means. I like anybody that listens to Nerd Rage knows that I have a crush on a transgender person.
Let's talk about him like that.
But
it's your best friend.
Yeah. I've seen things in my I think that there needs to be some leeway with it. You know, that's all. Like if you look like if you are presenting yourself like a woman and you look like a woman and then someone calls you ma'am, I don't think that you should be offended. I think that you should say, actually, I'm a dude. If that's, I just have, I'm just look this way. Then correct it and then move on. I don't think you should be offended by it because people are just used to making assumptions based on presentations. Like, and I don't think that's
too many people get butthurt. So
I mean, don't take offense. Exactly. It's like relax a little bit because maybe you do kind of look a little like a woman still, and you can't blame someone who doesn't fucking know you.
Exactly. That's just nonsense. That's my thing.
Hey, if at Skullfest, can I rub Crisco all over my body and run around?
That is actually on the schedule.
Okay.
Can we make this a new segment, like social justice with Bobby Reichface?
No. Okay. Is anybody gonna get this statue? I would love to get it, but I can't afford it.
Nope.
How much is it?
That's probably $1,500 at least. Maybe 2,000.
God, I can't believe that people.
Anyway.
Oh my god!
All right, well we are done with the news. Yay!
Moving on to dick pic news.
Hell Hasbro.
So
I have not said that in a while. But anyways,
cease and desist.
We're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
Right.
Andy from I don't. Did you read it right? Andy.
Oh, God, that hurt.
Andy said on Andy from Kapow Toys made a post on TFW saying that he received a cease and desist from Hasbro Takara in regard to 2 products. We're not sure if those 2 products mean 2 companies, 2 lines, 2 specific products, etc. There were some people that theorized that it was maybe because it was maybe Fans Toys RC and Hot Rod, because they were on the Chosen Prime's website as not available for order. But then Fans Toys wrote inside of the fucking thread, like, ha ha ha, the reason why is because they're not available for pre-order yet. Obviously having a laugh at it. So what do we think about it? Thoughts, comments, courtesies, concerns, etc., etc. We can put the Fans Toys rumor to bed. That's not the case.
Well, before you go into the meat and potatoes of it, why didn't he identify the companies? The toys?
Well, we asked that question to Maz last night, and he said it might be a legal thing where they can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you would know that if you listened to that special.
I've listened to 20 minutes of it. Give me time. I was in class today.
Not you. I'm talking to the person who asked the question. God
damn
it.
I listened
to
this
I got triggered.
And I'm also an attorney. And
are you really? Really?
Unless they agreed to keep it confidential.
I didn't know you was are you a lawyer?
There's no legal reason why they can't say.
Well, apparently there was some shit with exhaust where they couldn't say all the things about the exhaust. I don't know.
Their own reason. They might not identify it. It's not legal reason. They're not, like, that's nonsense.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. You're a subject matter expert. Like, I'll back you on that.
Let's wait through the discussion, because I really think we need to have a secondary episode next week too. So I'm probably going to say something that's going to make somebody mad. So let's just wait through it. Do you mind if I go next, since I was like right up in the middle of that thread?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. So someone, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I talked to somebody today who had some insight, and it seems like this might have stemmed from a discussion that was had elsewhere. And that discussion was had elsewhere, and then the discussion was had elsewhere, and eventually someone got wind of it and decided to tweet about it. And I think at that point, like a retailer getting a C&D was misconstrued as a company getting a C&D, and that's how the TFW thread started, with someone saying Hasbro sent Fans Toys a C&D over 2 products. And now, admittedly, like the person who started the thread did say in that Twitter thread the only reason they did it was to stir shit, basically. So let's take that for what it is.
Troll.
But there was a lot of discussion about it, and I was kind of I was like Scooby-Doo, like I was trying to put together clues, and I found what I thought was the post that it originated from, and I kind of put things together. Since Brandon from Chosen Prime's images were used on his site, I contacted him. He got back to me once it was a decent hour, where he lives, because we're time zones apart, and he said that's absolutely not true. So the reason that the Hoodlum and the RC pictures said not for sale is because they were loaded, like as a preemptive thing, like they were going to go active, like in a day or two. But apparently Fans Toys is about 6 months behind right now on projects, which is why, yeah, exactly. Which is why we haven't seen Cesium and things like that people think are canceled and all this other whatever. And so the reason they say not for sale is because I don't know if it had something to do with his web hosting. Like, I don't know how that works, but I guess he had to mark them as something so they didn't just go away. So that's why they say not for sale, because the pre-orders have been put back. So then Fans Toys weighed in the TFW thread and said, well, we don't have a pre-order for these yet. And that's the reason why. The rumor incorrectly said that Toy World RC was pulled from Kapow, which is really odd, because when I looked, it was there. So I don't know where that came from. But as far as the Kapow C&D, I talked to multiple retailers who probably don't want their names mentioned, so I'm not going to say them. But I don't know whether they talked to Kapow or Kapow contacted them, possibly saying, hey, did you guys get one of these too? But apparently it's in regards to knockoff movie masterpiece figures.
Now, the only thing that I say about that, because I've heard that same rumor circulating as well, is that Kapow doesn't sell knockoffs.
Yeah, but I heard they were listed under Hasbro for whatever reason.
On Kapow's website?
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, because it was already gone. And
well,
I've heard people say the same thing.
Exactly. And I don't know. I've never bought from Kapow. They're obviously a European retailer, so it wouldn't make sense for me to know their website. But I talked to Cody, I talked to a couple other people, and they say they don't remember seeing any KOs ever being available through.
Well, a lot of companies sell KOs and don't list them on their websites here in America.
Sure.
But I mean, the overwhelming answer I've gotten was it was regarding knockoff. And my other thing, someone said they had them listed under Hasbro. I can't remember who it was. I wouldn't say their name even if I did, just because. But I think it could have even been a preemptive thing. And it only seems to affect Kapow. So it may even just be, and I said this on the I kept getting bullshit on the TFW thread, and finally I actually got someone that was like, oh, that makes sense. The fact that it's a split release between Hasbro and Takara, so they both have credits on it, legally that might be why they could only go after this particular KO, because people are like, why don't they go after all Masterpiece KOs? And I think the fact that it's the movie masterpieces that are dual branded, Hasbro has a legal option. And the fact that it was only Kapow makes me think it might have just been Hasbro UK that were legally able to go against it. And since Kapow is really, from what I read, is the only real retailer in the UK, the biggest one at least, and also the only major one, they could go against them. And that there are two Bumblebee knockoffs of that recent figure. There's two different versions of it that are about to come out. It might even just been a preemptive thing.
Interestingly, to add to that,
Shout out to
I think Hasbro probably is hoping that their MP movie line is exponentially bigger than Takara's just G1 line, because they're hoping to tap into the Bayverse fans. So they're trying, like you said, preemptively protect against any knockoffs. I'm sure maybe it was did you mention, because I had to put it on mute for a second and deal with something, the Unique Toys Peru Kill?
Well, that's a thing that popped up in that thread, that people were saying no, because someone said, they were speculating what the two toys were, and someone actually kind of, I think, reacted to me and was like, how does that make sense? It's probably the Peru Kill and the Alien Attack Mirage, because their vehicle modes are so close to the real vehicle. And I'm they don't offer any fucking branding. How does this make any less sense? And that's where they're like, oh, it's kind of a good point. I just think it would be, I don't even legally, I can't even, even as a layman, as far as that goes, I can't understand how they could issue a C&D against, Fathom, Matt, a C&D against two different products, completely unrelated, for two unrelated companies, and not just be able to issue a C&D against that entire company. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it has to be regarding a product. It has to be regarding an infringing product, But
neither of those are. But knockoff Masterpiece Bumblebees obviously are.
But so is Lambor. The alt mode, the licensing was a Lamborghini, so you can't think, well, the movie verse, alt modes have licenses.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, but so do the G1s. Much of the G1s. And so. What the hell else was I going to say?
Sounds like a slippery slope.
Oh boy! I mean, they could issue a C&D on anything, but they really can. They can decide to and decide not to. What's weird though, to counter my own point on, maybe it's because it's Bayverse KOs. I mean, Wei Jiang's done it already, and I don't know if they got stopped. The only difference is Wei Jiang's in China.
Well, the only difference is Wei Jiang has done KOs of Takara released product.
What about
that they have?
The Hound wasn't there? No, was it? They did Hound.
Yeah, but that's but that's in China, and apparently this is something that's not typically stocked on Kapow. This could even be something that that Kapow supplier, because I think Kapow deals directly with Hasbro UK, much like BBTS and TS does. And so maybe they got wind that Robot Kingdom or someone who is known wholesaler to websites like well, I'm not saying it's known to Kapow, but websites even as big as Kapow, they might be stocking this, and so it might be a preemptive thing.
Right.
And it might just be Hasbro UK because they hold dual
pistols.
Basically,
citizenship.
Yeah. Well, no,
honestly,
on these toys, like it's a conjoined release between the two companies. So Hasbro UK could have a legal window to file a cease and desist. That maybe Takara, or I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating, of course, but it makes sense to me. It makes more sense than them going after a Toy World figure, and a Unique Toys figure and a Alien Attack figure, or going after two specific Fans Toys releases, which has been debunked, or going after like two just very specific things. I think it's got more. There's more sense in it being to knock off Bumblebees. Like,
what if it's Galaxy Meteor and Howling Meteor?
Oh man!
I mean, if they went after fans,
there's no depth to this discussion.
If they were
worlds colliding, get your tin hats.
Apartment 5000.
I'm sorry for the gay.
I love the whole tin hat conversation. I loved it. It was awesome, by the way. But this brings me back to my question: why they didn't identify the products? Because they could have. I'm telling you, they could have. There's no reason not to. Because if they're in a position where there's nothing established, there's obviously no settlement, there's no order.
I don't think he wanted to pitch anybody into a panic of social media outlash without having all the legalities of the particular case. Like, I don't think he wanted to panic anybody.
Wouldn't you say the uncertainty and making people guess all across the spectrum causes its own panic and uncertainty across the board?
Well,
as
what
opposed
if
to just these two things?
What if it was a product that he had actually planned on listing or had listed? I don't know. I mean, I obviously don't check their site because I'm in America. But what if it was something that he had planned on selling, and then he would say, they're not going to let us sell this. So then they would order from another source, and then they would miss out on those pre-orders. I mean, you got to think it's a business. They don't want to spook their customers.
If he gets the product from another source, it doesn't matter where he's getting it from. He's still
no. They're customers.
Still be liable to them if they were right.
No. You misunderstood me. Maybe he doesn't want to spook his consumers because they may order from another source.
But
that he's not affected by this.
But if they've identified two products that he's so terrified about that he's not even saying what it is because he thinks he's not legally able to, he's not going to sell them. So his consumers aren't going to get those products from him anyway. So why not just identify those two?
He may be able to, he may think there's a recourse to this particular order. There may be a way to fight it, and he doesn't want to scare off potential customers if there's a chance it can be resolved or could be sidestepped in some manner.
The way you can figure it out is, you see, I play a game. I ask, what are somebody's worst reasons for doing something? And does that explain their conduct?
Hey, what if it's just X-Transbots Cosmo they're just going after?
Cosmo?
That would be a bizarre turn of events.
I know.
Nobody else saw Game of Thrones. No one else saw Game of Thrones.
But how bizarre? How bizarre?
I don't. I have better things to do on Sunday than much dragon fantasy fairy shows.
You got better things to do.
I don't know if you do or not.
There are no fairies in it, and there are zombies, so I think you'd like it. There's a lot of murder and incest.
Bobby, you don't know what I do on Sunday nights, so...
that shit was exceptionally good this season.
You have better things than to die tonight?
He goes to church.
Exactly, Matt. Thank you for stealing my punchline. I really appreciate you tonight. You've been a fucking team player.
I'm glad you came on, man.
I don't even know what the fuck that shit means.
I don't either, man.
I don't know, but the timing worked out for a good ooh.
I think statistically I've done more shows than...
Oh, you want to bring up statistics? Okay,
yes.
Statistics.
Statistics!
You better click on that desktop calendar and get
you better bring a lunch when you bring your statistics. We got questions.
I don't need a lunch.
Statistics and stones can break my bones.
Hey, Matt, I don't need a lunch when I know I'm going home early. So I might not even be around until lunchtime. I'll be done by like 8 o'clock. So
you got me.
All right, should we do some questions?
Can we talk about flat Earth for a little bit? Speaking of statistics
No.
and lunches, the Earth is flat, fuckers.
So who? Let's see. This was from MP Collector. Dear Shadowcast crew, I was recently watching Defenders on Netflix and caught myself thinking about how awesome it would be if a production company could do something similar with the Transformers. A big budget, adult-themed 8 to 13 episode season containing a single overarching story arc. I wouldn't really care if it was live action or animated as long as the production quality was through the roof and the target audience was the hardcore Transformers fandom. The tough question for me is figuring out what story I would want to see in a series like that. I love the pilot episodes of the Sunbow cartoon, so a series that referenced that material would be epic. The plot of the 86 animated movie is one of my all-time favorites, so that would be great reference material too. For an adult audience, maybe Last Stand of the Wreckers would be the way to go. What says the SCU cast? If we ever got a Transformers series on Netflix, like I just described, what story would you like to see adapted, and would you want the producers to come up with something entirely, or would you want the producers to come up with something entirely new? I'll say that ordinarily I would want them to come up with something entirely new, but it's scary as shit whenever you tell Hasbro to do that. So I would like them to go with something tried and true. And I tell you, like, I think for an adult audience, I think I'd like a telling of that War of Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron story arc.
Nice.
Like for a series. Like I'd love to see IDW straight to DVD movies, like self-contained. Like here's Last Stand of the Wreckers, here's Dark Cybertron, here's whatever. But for a series, I'd like to see him do War of Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, cover the whole origins of it all and all that. I think that would be cool.
I think if we're following Defenders, I'd like to see a Wrecker series with Sideswipe and Sunstreaker, almost said Sunchurch, and then RC and Rodimus Prime.
Nice.
What if they gave George Lucas?
Because that doesn't have shit to do with the actual Wreckers. That was clever. Come on now.
I like that.
That was clever.
I wish they would make that.
I put like a Luke Cage, Danny Rand, like a Heroes for Hire dynamic in there with the Sun Surge or the Sunstreaker and the Sideswipe. And then I put in like the one female character at the time. Then I just threw in someone else. Come on.
Real quick, I want to apologize to Dust publicly.
Boy.
Last week I was giving him grief about the hating everything.
Boy.
But I finished Defenders,
boy.
And Defenders might be trash.
All right, you're both mopey then.
Yeah, I think you might need to relax,
dude. For those no spoilers, but the story of Defenders is that there is literally a infrastructure built under New York City made up of dragon bones, and they're trying to get the dragon bones out of the infrastructure of New York City to create a substance. Meanwhile, subsequently causing a literal collapse of New York City. It's pretty dumb.
Did anybody say, I think it's a Transformer?
I think the plan was after they were done with the Dragon Bones, they were going to level New York City to erase evidence. Because when they discussed the fall of the other major cities that have been caused apparently by this organization, they did not mention Dragon Bones. So
yeah, but they talk about they talk about the substance being the structure of the city itself. So, I mean, I hear you, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm saying that there's also an argument there that like the city is literally built on dragon bones.
There might also just be an argument about Misty Knight getting that fucking robot arm. So maybe we should just relax.
We're talking about New York City, right?
Yeah.
Are you sure you're not mistaking it for the rats?
Yeah, no. You're unfortunately that would almost make more sense.
So stupid. New York City's on bedrock. It's just
and
like
Danny
what?
Rand is a fucking asshole. Like,
who?
Yeah, he is. He's a complete and total cunt until he gets Misty Knight the robot arm.
Like just like
which is all I ever wanted to see
like,
since I saw Luke Cage season 1.
You're like, I want you to punch through this wall. I'll never do it. Okay, now then fine. Just fight me near it. Would you fight me near it?
I like those lips, man.
Dickhead.
Oh, girl has some nice lips.
So yeah, I want to get that apology out of the way. What about you, Justin? What would you like to see?
Well, I too would like to see Last Stand of the Records. I think any of those short, like, miniseries comic books, I think would make like perfect short, like, straight to even DVD / Netflix things. Like, I think there's a huge market there for that kind of stuff.
Right.
Outside of that, because Netflix likes to pick up weird things like Voltron and things like that don't do so well sometimes, then I mean, not that Voltron's necessarily not, but they pick up like
Pissed off some Voltron
things.
people.
No. I like that series.
Yeah,
it's a good series.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go back to what we were talking about earlier, and like maybe you could go ahead and release me a final season of Transformers Animated on there. I mean, I'd be okay with that. So even if it was just
that's
like a
one
film,
down.
Even if it was a film for it, I think it'd be pretty cool.
That's one down.
But that's all. Yeah, I mean, really the mini-series type things are what I think would work best. So
awesome. Oh, thanks, Bobby. I would like to see spotlights. Like, you know, the comics has spotlights, you know, with just a certain character. I think they could do a couple spotlights with some certain characters and then bring them all together like they did at Defenders.
Like highlights.
Kind of do something like that. Yes. So I would like to see that. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's cool.
No, it's not. Don't lie.
You gonna ask me, Matthew?
Hey, Robert, what would you like to see other than Bobby's penis?
If you ask him, he'll show it to you. You know.
I know he will. He likes attention. I do not, Deluxe.
I'd like to see something new. I don't know. Make it adult themed. Like, combiners got to use their dicks to combine in, and they really don't want to do it. So that's why there's only a few teams who can do it.
That's called rape.
Motormaster's like, oh! Honestly, I don't know. That's my answer.
I don't think they think that's funny anymore. Hey, Greg, what would you like to see?
Turtles.
Yeah, turtles.
That's it? All right.
It doesn't matter what I want to see. It's going to be garbage. No, I'm going to be passive aggressive about it from here on out. It's going to be garbage.
You mean from here on out, or just since you've been doing
Oh, this? I don't know. I'm sorry, I got distracted by Hedgehog. Yeah, it's all cute. He's so good. My opinion, I've said my opinion over and over. I guess some IDW stuff would be cool. There's not really any G1 stories you could really tell in 8 or 12 episodes. Like, you can't tell a G1 story unless you rehash something, stretch it out. Like, I just don't see how that would work. So you could do a Netflix version of like a DC animated movie where you take one storyline and kind of stretch it out, and like we saw how that worked out with Machinima. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't really want anything. I'd rather him just not at this point. Just not. Just don't.
Just don't. Okay.
All right. So let's continue on.
Read it all.
Let's not.
You better read it all, Bobby.
Hi guys, Bobby has a penis. I just wanted to start with a big g'day from Sydney, Australia. You recently mentioned how surprised you were to have subscribers beyond the good old USA. So just wanted to let you know that you have reached down under, so to speak. Nice. Thanks to Bobby and his YouTube channel, I was introduced to SCU 6 months ago, and I have not turned back. The balance of knowledge, chemistry, and I might need some assist with that. I went to school in the resource room.
Is that larrykinism?
Yeah. Oh, larrykinism is perfect, and I enjoy every new episode. I'm not sure. Also, as I am a member, if you could give a shout out to Transformers Club Australia, that would be amazing and cool for me to share with the 2,600 strong Facebook group here in Australia. Definitely shout out to Transformers Collectors Club of Australia.
We don't talk about Transformers Collectors Club of Australia. First rule of Transformers.
First rule of Transformers Collectors Club of Australia.
Now,
or as I like to just call it, Taka.
I have a couple of things to say before we get really into it.
No.
I don't remember when we said we were surprised. I mean, I guess we have in the past, but I don't think that the fact that Lenny, like our last member that left, who was our host for 2 years, a year and a half, is from Australia. So I'm pretty sure we are aware of our Australian fan base. Also, I checked that the club that he asked us to shout out, and that shit looks organized as fuck.
Really?
And I kind of wish we had something like that here.
Huh.
So
he put a link to it for those interested. It's tccaus.wordpress.com.
Not Bobby, but for those that are interested in it, there's a link.
Put another shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah, I mean, there's podcast awards and
there's like community pages.
We should.
Yeah,
I bet we're nominated.
This shit is squared away.
Yeah. Well, it's a very small prison colony, so it shouldn't be that hard to.
Here comes Twitter. I can already hear it. Now to my question.
And 2/3 of that shit's fucking wasteland. So.
My collecting is mainly focused on official masterpiece and recently the third party with Sphinx and Space Racer. Boo. With no time for the KO market.
Boo.
Yeah. Though recently I feel the line between third party and KO has been blurred further by Fans Toys introduction of the FT08 grinder G1 Dino Head.
My man.
With the limited engineering options for a G1 Grimlock, the extra head, so to speak, feels to me that Fans Toys is now flying extremely close, if not into the KO sun. I was interested in the team's opinion on this, and also where do you see the line between KO and third party as this type of scenario where design, engineering, aesthetic options are limited by the character. Thanks again for the awesome podcast. Damien, Facebook, Damien.cope.7, Google Damien Cope, podcast Damien Cope 84.
Damien Babyface, Damien.
So thank you for the question. I don't see exactly how this, like for me, we had this discussion on Shattercast and before the grinder ever came out, and Greg kind of said like it's going to be very similar to the masterpiece, and he also said that it was also one of these characters where it's just difficult to design him any other way because the rib cage has to open up and become the wings on the back. The legs of the dinosaur have to become the arms of the robot. Like there's just things that have to happen in order for the G1 look to kind of follow through. So like with that in mind, there was actually more engineering changes than I expected there would be with him than the MP08. So,
well, you know what though? It's interesting. Did you see? I went first. Hold on. You remember the DX9?
Actually, I have more insight.
I know you do. That's why. Let me just throw this out really quick. The DX9 Legends Grimlock. There's no dinosaur head on his back. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You open the chest and stick it in there instead of putting it on his back.
Oh, shut up.
But like, I want the dinosaur head on his back.
Yeah, but what he's talking about is that additional add-on head, and from a technical standpoint, I think to be considered a knockoff, it has to be within. And Justin, it's something like 85% or something like that of the original toy. That's what you have. Yes, we have like oversized that. Or like that's what like your normal like dollar store knockoffs are like oversized or undersized or miscolored or whatever or simplified. And so I think what he might be getting at is with the grinder being so similar to the Fans toy or the masterpiece, it was fine. But then when they release a separate head release, this head is pretty spot on to the official masterpiece. And like I think like you can't just combine two separate releases into that percentage. Like I think what he's saying is with this particular release that is so close to the actual masterpiece, like they are kind of drifting into that KO territory with this particular thing. And I mean he did specify with this release, so I would tend to kind of agree with him as far as that goes.
That just tells you how spot on MP08 is.
Well, yeah, I think that's more the thing is that MP08's head is so accurate to the cartoon that if you're going to put out a Grimlock and have the head be accurate to the cartoon, I think it's going to have to be similar.
Yeah, but if you're going to sell, and even if they gave the piece away, I think it would have like been less of a thing. But the fact that they charged roughly, I mean, in America at least, roughly $20 for another head that was basically a knockoff of the MP08 head. I mean, that does once again drift into kind of like selling KO territory.
I don't know. I mean, remember there was that drama about them having to change design aspects because of how similar it was? Like, what if
they did?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if they had to do it in order to get the figure out, and then they're like, "Look, but we know the head that you want, you know," and like, I don't.
But they're still selling it. That's the issue. If they had been like, "We know what you want, so we'll include it with a future release," which is their usual MO. But the fact that they are putting it on its specific hardback and they're selling it for any amount of money.
I don't think making money off it matters. Whether it's
I don't either, and I prefer them to sell anytime anything like this happens, like the KFC ape face head. Like, I would have much preferred them sell that separately, so people that didn't necessarily want the goddamn Snapdragon didn't have to buy it in order to get the fucking ape face head one.
But if it's so close to the G1, they could call it a free gift, and they could have been free and clear. Just like how we talked about off the show, so I'm not going to talk about it on the show. But remember that DC service I told you about, where they give you a free gift when you order something for delivery? Like, I think if they gave it away and marked it as a free gift, they could have been okay. But the fact that they're selling it as a separate thing on its own packaging, I think that kind of comes closer to constituting selling a knockoff.
You don't have to make a profit, make any money, or sell it for money to be knocking it off. I think they're knocking it off. It could be given away free. They're still knocking it off, causing consumer confusion. You know,
so that doesn't really take away from my.
No, it doesn't. I think you're actually more right than you think. They don't have to be making any money on it. It's knocking it off because the MP08's dyno head was so spot on, and if they want to make a spot on head, they're even if they're not taking that mold and copying it, they're taking what they see as a perfect Grimlock head, and it looks just like MP08. So, now we got to ask, how does it make Bobby feel about collecting fans toys?
Now, am I wrong? Okay, so going off that logic, Robert, since you're a legal expert of sorts,
what?
I'm just kidding. So it would not including that head with the actual figure and then giving the option of the other head, like flipping the script, so to speak, like with what they did with like if they had released their repaint with that head, that would have on paper contributed to that percentage of difference. So like there's enough different about the actual figure that they could get away with that head. So wouldn't it have made more sense to include the right head and then give you the option of the other head if you wanted it?
It being
that would have given them more gray area to work.
I think making it a separate release makes it a gray area. You know, that's what makes it, because it becomes like an add-on kit, and then they could claim that it's just the head that's infringing, not the rest of the thing. And I mean that's what I would say. I think the problem is, they're fucking charging $30 for it. Go fuck yourselves.
Well, it would be 90% head infringing versus 60% entire robot toy package infringing.
I don't think the issue is whether it's infringing or not. I think the real issue here is the fact that they're charging $30 for a dyno head.
Well, they're charging $17 to $20, but yeah.
But with shipping,
Oh, with shipping, yeah, but you can't really include shipping on something you choose to buy online. In my opinion.
For me, like a knockoff is when you take something, you take the mold and you upscale it. Like if you design it and it just like that's the thing. Like, so that's where it comes down to me with like I don't know if I can define it. I just know it when I see it. Like if Hot Toys does a Michael Keaton,
Hot Toys.
If Hot Toys does Michael Keaton Batman, and it looks just like Michael Keaton Batman, and then another company does a Michael Keaton Batman, and it looks just like Michael Keaton Batman.
Marvel Legends.
Like no, that wouldn't be able to do it. You know, Marvel Legends wouldn't be able to do it. You know, but like,
especially since it's Marvel and not DC. But anyway,
let's say Sideshow. You know, like just because they both look like fucking Michael Keaton's face doesn't mean that one knocked the other one off.
Well, they both have official licenses to the two.
But see, to me, that's why I initially said with my statement that it's not about that. It's about taking the mold.
Well, look, the thing is, it's almost like chicken and the egg. The whole term knockoff is coined by people. It's not like the legal term, and there are situations. A knockoff is something that causes confusion as to the origin of the product and diminishes the value of the license holder of that actual product. So if it looks like, obviously the thing, it's hard when you've got MP08 versus Fans Toys, and the Fans Toys is arguably nicer. Is that still a KO? Is that still, see, you can't just think of KO, quote unquote, in terms of a copy. It doesn't have to just be a copy. It could be something that just looks so much, or brings, it causes the consumer to associate that product with the other company that is actually the official company.
I mean, I hear
that's
you.
what a knockoff is.
What about a Sideshow Clone Trooper and a Hot Toys Clone Trooper?
But if they're both licensed, neither's a knockoff.
Well, never mind.
But there could be brand confusion.
Hot Toys is distributed by Sideshow, but anyway.
What does that have to do with anything?
I think so. Well, I mean, that's brand confusion right there.
I agree. But I mean, aside from that, you could walk into a store and mistake, not knowing any better. Like if you had a Christmas list, and easily buy a Sideshow Stormtrooper instead of the Hot Toys Stormtrooper, and think that you bought the right thing.
God forbid you buy $100 toy of another. Well, anyway, what I think would be a fair.
But hold on. Really quick. The whether it's the claim of whether it's causing confusion it resides in the holder of the mark. So if the holder of the mark isn't complaining, no one's actually supposed to give a fuck.
That sounds like an 80s
they're allowing it
movie.
to be diluted, basically. So if they give two licenses out and the two companies with different pricing, put out very similar products, they've already said, we consent. We don't give a fuck. It doesn't exist then.
Holder of the Mark sounds like some 80s animated movie with animals looking for an artifact.
That's true.
Now, what if, how about this, Robert? So if someone posted a Fans Toys grinder with the updated head on it, and they listed it as Fans Toys MP Grimlock on eBay, do you think it would be fair to take that down? Like, would it be fair for Hasbro to be like, or any entity that has the authority to take that down?
No, hell no, that wouldn't be fair, America.
Because they're presenting a knockoff, or not a knockoff, they're presenting a third-party, outside produced product that bears the likeness of an official product, and they're calling it a masterpiece, which is a trademarked brand, even though they say it's Fans Toys Masterpiece Grimlock. They're using, whoever's doing that, please stop. They're using Justin. All sorts of trademarks. Is it Justin? Yeah. Is that Matt?
Is it Justin?
Justin.
Yeah, it's totally me. Sorry.
Oh God! Quit having fun on this podcast.
There's no fun about this podcast.
Well, then don't do it.
Greg, they can do that with anything.
Well, we had fun last night, but whatever.
They have the ability to make that stink with anything they see on eBay. They just don't.
But I'm saying, would they have more ground in that scenario, where someone just stupidly listed product wrong, and like what could come from that?
Who knows? They haven't done anything.
That set a precedent.
I mean, I don't see any precedent about any of this. They could say masterpiece. The term masterpiece is trademarked. Masterpiece Transformers, it's trademarked. You call it Fans Toys Masterpiece Grimlock. Grimlock's trademarked. The likeness is trademarked, and it's copyright infringement. They could use that across the board.
I'm talking about the exact usage of I'm talking about the 3 specifics in this case:
They
the use
could,
of
yes.
Masterpiece, the use of Grimlock, and then having that super MP-like head in pictures. Like,
sure.
But from there, where could they go? Like, does that open a doorway?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I think that shit is just it's a double-edged sword. Like if you want it to look like the cartoon, and a masterpiece is already available that tries to look like the cartoon, like it's gonna look like the masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, it's something that was brought up in that thread about the fake Fans Toys news, and multiple times actually it was discussed. I guess New Balance won a suit against a Chinese knockoff company because they used the N. And granted, they only won like $1.5 million or something. It's the largest. It's the largest. And it sounds better if you say 98 million yuan, but it's the largest settlement like in a case like this, I think, so far. So, I mean, does this open up a door to going after these knockoff masterpiece companies?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. If the Chinese government is willing to actually enforce, IP laws, in China, I'm surprised that happened. But if they are, that's a big problem. That's precedent.
I mean, I would think, like, as much as I want Fans Toys to go away, like, I would much rather them take care of the knockoff MP companies, the companies making, like, your Takasa Tonys and what else. Like, I'd rather them take them out. And Weijing. And MPPPP Optimus Primal. Prime guy, fella face. Because he comes with 3 faces. Ooh.
It's got a face. It's gotta be face.
But anyway, thank you, Damien, for the combo and for the question.
Damien, I actually looked. I'm the only one that looked at your site. Yeah, but I'll promote it.
No, I did.
That shit looks organized as fuck. Yeah, that shit looks organized as fucked, and I appreciate and I recognize
the work.
Your work. Exactly.
You already did.
Oh, look at Optimus Prime. He's an Australian flag.
Yeah, do you know Lenny? Do you know Lenny Tarnface?
Larry DeZepha?
Yeah. He might have made you.
It does look good, man. That's a good site, man.
Yeah, dude, that's just organized as fuck. I wish we had something like that here.
Lenny
was
proud of that
but yeah, he was.
He was, Lenny.
He posted that shit almost as much as his Cialis pics.
Well, what's funny is I made a comment when he posted the cafe. I was like, man, you're making your living off that picture. And, like, other people were messaging me butthurt. And, like, Lenny and I were going back and forth, but, like, other people were getting butthurt that I said that to him in that thread. Like we don't have no history, or, like, they have some say over our history.
Somebody has to protect. Somebody has to protect Lenny.
Yeah, it's like Lenny has a fucking online entourage, it seems
Captain
like.
Say the Ho!
Man, we got some questions, though. What's next?
Let's wrap it up for tonight. I think that's good.
You want to wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up. Save a few for
Wrap it up.
Save a few. We didn't even get the dick pics yet, or MP collector. Or no, we did. We did MP collector. Yeah, we didn't get the dick pics though.
Yeah, I mean, we can just keep some in the bank. It's nice to have something to fall back on.
I don't want to be known as a podcast that has a
like
dick
a penis.
Bank.
You'll fall back on a penis. Oh, anyway, so. All right. Thank you very much for listening to us. We appreciate everything that y'all do. And go out there and sub, do all that stuff. We will save some hoes. We will be all at TFCon, so come by and say hi to all of us. Go out and just have a merry day. We got some new stuff coming, probably. We got some stuff in the works for y'all Shardettes and Shards and stuff. And
official Hasbro or official Shattercast cease and desist.
Yes, exactly. Anything else we need to say? We need to tell the
don't transcribe our shit. Listen to the show. You're gonna get a letter from me, certified mail.
Yeah, y'all didn't know Robert was a lawyer, did you?
Don't transcribe our shit. I will send you a fucking letter while I'm jerking off.
Hey, if you're listening though, even if you know what the deal is, listen to that thing we did last night with Maz. Like, it was Maz's idea. I will admit that he put it out there. We said, okay, And I mean, I know like skimming over it or reading the cliff notes on TFW is a thing, but he wanted to do it. I think we all should, and listeners and us included, should respect him enough to listen to it, just like any other project that he or Shattercast would have done.
I think you guys did a bang-up job, all three of you. It was a really good listen. It went by quickly.
Yeah, he might be the new Robert D.
Oh, cool.
Let's discuss that.
Go give us a 5-star, all that good stuff, and rate us.
He might be Robert D.
And,
I wondered if it would have gone so well if me and Matt were on the show with you guys, or would he have been offended and how he would have reacted to all the background noise.
And go out there and sub to our YouTube channel. We're trying to go, above and beyond for y'all. All right.
Hell of a sales pitch, Matt.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm just trying to think of stuff that we need to tell them that to keep subbing to us, and get on Facebook, do all that good stuff. We need to be out there. I think we are the best podcast out there. I think we.
What? Oh, here comes the Twitter.
Shoutouts to Cool Table Network, ROC, Edges Around, Toy Detox, Plastic Fanatics, Spirit Vultures, Nerd Rage Radio, SQWEEKS,
and my personal favorite, the well-established Gentleman's Show, Stasis Lock.
At Real Robot, at Fear Corpse,
I am Ratchet.
Third Party TF Crashers, and Open Your Toys Podcast.
This podcast is intended for mature audiences only and sole purpose is entertainment. If it doesn't fit with your sensitive sensibilities, please feel free to turn it off now.
Shut the fuck